What is good? What is good? I am your host for Drag the Lake, Andy Malfrino. With me, as always, as I know him, the other host, the late great Pat George. Pat, how you doing, you cute son of a bitch?
More host than you and more host than you as well. I'm doing
What?
well, Andy. It's football day, bro. It's time for football.
Are you giving a fuck about football?
Nope.
No, I've been
Um,
giving more of a fuck about football. Giving a fuck about football is a fun one because football is fun to watch.
yeah,
That was
it's
my summation of it.
it's one of the best background things to have. I like live sports in general. I'm kind of not too picky about it, but I'll take most playoff sports in general. But football is just nice to have on Sunday while I'm in the old caddock editing
Yeah.
and hanging out, listening to some tunes. You know what I mean?
I was getting into football because it was good a stress reliever. I was like doing just too much shit. And like football was a good thing to sit down and for like 4 hours you could just not worry about other fucking shit. Cause I ran into this problem where I just like had too many things. It's like well, I mean, this is like a great example of it. I'll fucking every time I want to do a thing, I'll start a podcast about it. And I just had like too many things sworn, or I like put too much on my fucking plate.
Yeah.
Now I know you see my physique and you're like, there's always too much on your plate, Andy. We know this. But no, for real. So it would be enjoyable to watch a thing that I didn't know enough about to make a podcast on. Cause you could, not to go down the whole fucking thing. We'll actually talk about music within the first fucking hour and a half. But you can get yourself into these certain type of thinking patterns that kind of just will like fuck with your fucking head. So I was just like putting too much on my plate, getting myself in that. So, and then I started watching football, and the Eagles are just a good team to fucking like. I know I was like, everyone's giving me shit. They're like, you're not a real fan. I go, I am a real fan. I am a very real bandwagon fan.
Yeah.
And it's not just because it's I'm a lower quality fan because I'm new and I got in when it was hot, which, sidebar, that's the best time to fucking get in.
Yeah, you're stupid if you like a shitty team. If you're loyal to a team that sucks and then you're also paying exorbitant prices for tickets and parking, and you're gonna go there and watch them lose, and then you're mad at me because I only like them when they win. Fuck off, stupid. You're the dummy.
I don't only like them when I win. I got into them when they were fucking winning. But at the same time, I grew up. My whole family's into Philly sports. I lived in PA my whole life up until the last 5 years. It would be if I got into like fucking who beat them in the Super Bowl last year? Like if I got into the Chiefs last season, that would be fucking phony because it's like you're not from fucking Kansas City. You only into them because they won the Super Bowl. But no, But yeah, no, you get into shit when it's the most fun. And also, Jalen Hurts back squat 600 pounds, so I want to fucking kiss his biceps. But right before this, I was watching. I was watching the fucking shout out Team Butterly. I was watching the goddamn Carnival of Combat press conference. That was some fun stuff. Those Philly boys are ready to fucking hurt each other. And that actually watching that, I was thinking about something. This is a random ass topic that I'm gonna just fucking hit you with. But I was thinking like because I listen to a lot of heavy music. We both listen to a lot of heavy music, and we're both into MMA, you substantially more than me. Do you ever think about what your fucking like walkout music is? Because I think you probably think about it in the context of like MMA, but I think about it in the context of wrestling where... Because in MMA, you kind of just like walk out. You can't really like do a whole spiel to build up the fucking moment. You just have to kind of like... You could be like Izzy, do a little like Goku thing, and then you walk to the ring, and then the guy puts Vaseline on your face and shit like that. Yeah. But like if you're a dude like The Undertaker, you walk out, you have your little moment on the stage, that hypes them up, then you walk down the fucking ramp, and then you kind of go like to each turnbuckle and do a whole thing. I was thinking of that while listening to fucking Theory of Mind by Kubla Khan, which is already just my favorite fucking song. Right? Like I think it's my top song just of all time currently. If that statement makes any sense. But like it's such a fucking multi-layered song. There's just a lot of different parts going on. There's just a whole bunch of shit happening. There's like 3 or 4 big sections that I listen to it, and I picture like the first half. I go, oh yeah, bust through the curtains at that point, and then fucking you're on the stage getting the crowd hyped up. Okay, this is when you transition down the ramp. So that's definitely like a fun fucking thing to think about, because that I got to imagine, like, whether it's in wrestling or MMA, walking through the curtain and just having a whole arena start screaming because you showed up. Like, if I walk into a party and 6 people go, Andy's here, like, that gets me fucking bricked up. I can't imagine a whole arena of people hyped because you fucking walked in.
Yeah.
But do you ever think about that?
Not only do I think about it, but I have given it extensive thought. Actually, I think I believe even one of the lists that I made early on into the show, when we were doing the Spotify lists, was one of them was like the top 5 walkout songs, or songs that I would walk out to for a fight, or I can't remember exactly what it was, but and it's also ironic that you brought up Izzy and the Undertaker, because Izzy actually did an Undertaker entrance. He walked out with the hat, and he had an urn, and he had the song. Ironically enough, and I think this had something to do with it. I don't think it was as ironic as they make it seem. Vince, Triple H, and Stephanie McMahon were all there in the front row for that UFC. So he walked right past them. So there must have been a thing of like, let me use the song. You guys get some tickets. You guys are friends anyway. We're going to have this big merger coming up. But I've thought about it.
That's gotta be fucking part of it, because he's one of those MMA fighters that's he's like very locked into more than just the fighting. Like, you'll see the dudes, like, I think I've seen press conferences with like George St. Pierre where they're trying to talk shit, and he's just like, I'm just ready for a good fight.
Yeah,
some shit like that.
He's more of there's more charismatic people. There's more people that are willing to, like, the people that are essentially what it is I think it's a generation of people that grew up watching wrestling, loved other things as well, and they're taking all those elements into it. And it's going forward. Obviously, it's becoming more and more like wrestling. But the thought that I put into it was not only trying to think of a great walkout song that's going to get you pumped, but not like exhaust you. Also, what happens if this is how much thought I've given to it? What happens if you've done all this thought, you've put all this time into picking your song, but then the fighter that comes out after you has a better song? Then what do you do? Like, what happens if you're like, oh shit? Do you let it pump you up, or you're like, uh-oh, he picked a better song that's way more apt for this rivalry? Or, you know what I mean? Like, the thoughts that fighters must put into it. Some of them, I'm sure, there's actually a really funny story with Platinum Mike Perry. When he was fighting for the UFC, he was fighting at the Apex, and he asked for the Halo theme from the video game Halo. And what they played was Halo by Beyonce. And he's like,
that rules.
And he didn't hear it until he was walking out. So there's actually a video of Mike Perry coming out, and he's like very confused at first, and he's like, fuck it. And he just starts singing Halo as he's walking out to the ring.
Which that's honestly, that's a decent we should clarify this too, because we love being Swifties. We love talking about Tay-Tay, or yeah, no, not to confuse with Ty, but we always love talking about Taylor. And I always make a very important distinction. Like, the music's just fine. At most, it's fine. Now, I'm pretty sure we've shit on Beyonce a good amount, but from my perspective, when I shit on Beyonce, it's more so just being like, you see the rabid Beyonce fans that if you say anything bad about her, they'll fucking come for your neck, and it's like on site with them. And my argument to that is always just like, it's like her whole thing is so obviously fake and contrived, and just like, you know, there's just like a big group, like a corporation behind her figuring out her persona and stuff like that. Now, all that being said, a lot of the music fucking hits.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, so like single ladies, bop. Halo, bop. You know, there's the Hot Sauce in My Bag song. That song fucking goes. Like, I'll give it to Beyonce and all the people that write her music and shit. Her shit fucking goes. I just don't understand the people that you know, become so rabid over her, like Beyonce's like this is actually Beyonce 100%. So I could see it's like, oh, that's not the theme I wanted, but if this shit's on, and also that could create a great viral moment for you if you're just like this tough UFC fighter, and then
Yeah,
Halo by Beyonce
yeah.
comes on, and you're just like out there bopping around to it. So,
Well,
and then
Tai Tuivasa,
things like that can definitely build up your persona and stuff. But sorry, what were you saying?
Tai Tuivasa actually is kind of gotten well known for not only his personality, like the shoey shit and all that stuff, and being like a cool dude that's just like a brawler style fighter and stuff like that. That's always going to be popular because there's a good percentage of people that watch fighting or combat sports in general just for the KOs or the knockouts or whatever, and that's totally
Oh
fine.
yeah,
Like, I like the skill of the mixed martial arts part, but I also love a brawler. Like, there's nothing wrong with Derek Lewis. There's nothing wrong with fucking Tai Tuivasa. There's nothing wrong with old Tank Abbott back in the day, but Tai Tuivasa famously comes out every time to a very uncharacteristic, you would assume, pop song. So like girls just want to have fun. He's come out to the Spice Girls. He comes out
yeah.
every single time he comes out to a fun, like light-hearted pop song. But he he is a violent fella. He
Oh
is a
yeah.
yeah. So it's really cool that like it's interesting to see who takes advantage of that aspect. So like in the UFC, it's not only the premier of mixed martial arts for anybody. Like most people use that as they use Kleenex for tissues. It's just the name for mixed martial arts fighting for a lot of people. But the thing that UFC offers is a platform almost at every level. They have a great social media presence. They have a fucking great production team. So this is an opportunity as a fighter that you could be on an undercard. You could be a lower ranked fighter, and you
Yeah.
can make moments for yourself. They give you opportunities. They show the walkouts for the undercards too sometimes. So play a song, make an impression or something like that. Tai Tuivasa is somebody who has been able to turn his fighting career into a true like small business. Like that's what I
I
like
was
to
just
see.
I was just talking to someone about that too, where yeah, a little sidebar on UFC. Like, there's so many options to like give yourself a fucking career. It's almost on you, because you'll have these fighters where they haven't, like, people forget they haven't won in a while, but they just have such good personalities. Like
Tony
Maz
Ferguson.
Masvidal was a really good example of that. Like, he didn't have, like, he came out big and then just had like a pretty fine career,
Mhm.
and his personality like really brought him there, and kept getting him back and stuff like that. And there was one dude, who was the one guy, I know there's Korean Zombie, but wasn't there another guy they called like the Mexican Zombie or something like that, who got his ass, like, he got fucked up but never went down, so people were like, this guy fucking rules.
There also Brian Ortega. I don't think is who you're talking about. You might be talking about El Pantera, maybe.
I'm
Uh,
not I'm
Yair
not good with the
Rodriguez.
name, but there was like a small, either like Mexican or something else, and he was getting fucking pummeled but never went down. And
Mhm.
it was like a thing of people were almost like, maybe we should stop the fight. This looks scary.
Yeah, I think there like I said, like you have that ability to, like you said, like you have the opportunity to create like a persona for yourself in wrestling. But essentially that's the biggest difference, one of the biggest difference between UFC and wrestling as far as the production or the selling of the product, is the fact that with wrestling you have somebody making that shit for you, that you have like,
Yeah.
okay, here's what you can say, here's what you're gonna feel, here's what you're gonna do. And then UFC, they're like, yeah, we want you to fight for us, here's who you're gonna fight, go for it.
Mm.
You gotta whatever you gotta do to make this fight more interesting to people, you gotta do it. And it really is like, I don't know if that's why, like, a lot of, you notice a lot of comedians and MMA fighters are like kind of drawn to each other and stuff like that. It's very similar in that aspect of like, yeah, you got to show, you got to promote it, you got to sell, you got to go out there, and then you have to actually perform, and
Mm-hmm.
then after the fact you have to do it all over again. It never, like, there's very little waves that you can ride. But there's fighters like Bilal Muhammad, there's fighters like uh fuck, who else? Who was I just thinking of? God damn it, I just had one in mind, but essentially fighters that are very impressive fighters, very good, on unbeaten streaks, all this other shit, and then they're like, yeah, but you suck at promoting. You're not fun to watch. You know what I mean? Like, and it's literally that. Like, it's the same aspect. They still want to entertain. They're
Well, it
still
makes. I've actually implemented that. 'Cause it's a valid thing to say though, where it's like it's not even so much as like, well, you're not entertaining. You're like, well, how do I get invested in this? I actually realized that with bringing it back to music. I actually realized that with bands where I'll sometimes, especially if it's an older band, like you ever have a class. It's like it'll be like a classic band that someone's like, oh, you just gotta fucking like check out, but you just don't have any like emotional attachment to it or whatever the fuck. And then I
yeah.
remember like I was reading some book where what the fuck? I'm trying to remember which book. I know I was listening to the guitar. I always forget his name, but the guitarist from the Rolling Stones,
Keith Richards.
Yeah, I was listening to his book, which actually it's a lot of just fucking like the beginning of the book was really interesting because it had all this information about because they were talking about how they got into the style of music they were playing, and basically over in England they got really into basically like all the blues music that was coming out of America, and so they got a bunch of that shit, started listening to it a bunch, and just essentially were doing their own version of it. So
Yeah.
it's interesting. That actually correlates to the thing I was trying to get across about why like Japanese bands are very interesting, because that seems the way that they sort of acquire their taste is they just kind of go to different cultures and go, oh, what are you guys doing? And then they eat that shit up and then just produce their own version. And that's kind of where the Rolling Stones got their fucking thing from. But eventually the book was the book was literally like, and then I did acid in this guy's house, and then I did acid at that guy, and like and all that, and I was just like, I don't know, that stuff doesn't excite me as much. But I remember Rolling Stones was one of the, to go back to my original point, Rolling Stones was one of those bands that I was like, you just hear that they're good, but you're like, it's just every fucking dickhead in the world is telling you they're great, and then you start sort of associating the Rolling Stones with all these annoying fucking people,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
you start kind of getting resentful, and you're like, well, if this fucking dickhead likes them, am I even gonna fucking like, and then you just don't come across them. But I'm like listening to this book, and he's breaking that down, and I'm like, oh, that's really fucking interesting. So after that, I checked out their first fucking album. And I didn't get fucking wrapped up in it, but from a historical standpoint, you're like, this is pretty cool. And also, I gotta be honest, I think about this sometimes when I watch stand up from the 80s, and I think about this sometimes when you see certain bands from like the 60s and 70s and stuff, and you're just like, it was just easier. Like
Yeah.
it was harder. Now, let me clarify actually, because I have this really good book called The Comedians, and I got a good ways through that. It gives like a whole history of doing stand-up comedy and all the stuff you had to do. And it was like, if you looked at their old acts, you're like, this is fucking nothing. Like if you looked at some slapstick shit from the fucking 40s or whatever, you'd be like, this is so simple and so basic. Although, sidebar on a sidebar, physical humor does fucking rule. You can write the smartest goddamn script in the world. There's nothing, you're not going to get something funnier than one of the jackass dudes hitting the other dudes in the balls. Physical comedy's just the best, in my opinion. But you watch from an artistic standpoint, you're like, this is very base level. But then you learn about what they had to do from show to show, and you're like, oh, you had to put in, like, you really had to put in the fucking work. Like, the Rolling Stones are telling stories about how, they're these fucking dickheads from England, and they're middle of bumfuck nowhere in the United States trying to find where there's this shitty biker bar that they're trying to perform at.
Yeah.
But then when you listen to it, musically, you're like, this is pretty good. It's pretty good. It's like pretty simple and stuff like that. And then you read these stories where it's like, yeah, after our first album, when we weren't even that big, you'd walk fucking 5 feet in England and you just have armies of girls trying to fucking attack us and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think about that sometimes with certain, like, there's obviously certain comedians, like, if you watch old Richard Pryor, or, Richard Pryor, but I meant to say George Carlin, easy to confuse the two. If you watch old George Carlin, when he was kind of like less ranty and doing more of his wordplay shit, is actually kind of some intricate shit that's really dope. But I'm rambling.
I think there's bands like there's experience. There's like you had to be their bands, and then there's like actually truly prolific. Oh my god, you have to hear this band. You know what I mean? Like, and I think with bands like Led Zeppelin, Rolling Stones, and certain things like that, where yes, you can go back and listen to those songs and be like, wow, this is a good song, but like overall, like there's a handful of songs that are like, wow, and then the rest of them you're like, yeah, it's a good song. You know what I mean? Like you're kind of like, but in that time, listening, if you were to be experiencing Led Zeppelin in real time as it was happening, like nowadays we have a choice to go like, okay, we can go try to connect with that band. It's very unlikely that you're going to be able to connect with Led Zeppelin because there's so many other bands that have been inspired by or influenced by somewhat Led Zeppelin that are more like they're more easier to connect with, I guess, maybe more relevant to you. But in the time when there was no other Led Zeppelin type bands and Led Zeppelin was the only Led Zeppelin, when you're putting that out real time, of course it's going to be mind blowing for you or something like that. So
So
like,
I would agree with you on like if you were talking about I would give you a little for me personally, I give you a little pushback on Led Zeppelin because dude, go back, watch any other live shit. That like if a band was coming out and doing that shit now, you'd still be like fucking popping off. But what I will say is for a band like the Rolling Stones and especially like the Beatles, like they were doing the right thing at the right time in my opinion. Because did you see that movie where it was about what the fuck was it was like some kid like the world has the whole world just forgets the Beatles exist and this kid's the only dude who knows that the Beatles exist. So
yeah,
he just goes and like he starts performing all of their songs in the whole world. He immediately becomes the biggest musician in the fucking world just because he's the only one who knows who the Beatles are. And I go, that wouldn't happen now.
no,
Like,
because like what the reason that movie works is because you're right. Like the same thing with the Led Zeppelin thing. You're right. There are it's not necessarily a hard and fast rule that Led Zeppelin, if they came out today, wouldn't also still be amazing. But it's the fact that they'd be like, oh yeah, they sound like whoever was the band that was them. You know what I'm saying? Like there has to be a first. So that's the thing. That's the point of that movie is what the Beatles are doing is pretty easy overall, but they were just the first to do that. Like each one of those things. And then
no,
they
the movie literally goes, the Beatles never exist. We're on the same timeline, but the
yeah,
Beatles never existed. And now if everyone in 2020 heard the Beatles for the first time, they'd lose their shit like they did back in the day. And it's like,
right.
no, they wouldn't.
No,
They wouldn't
no.
lose their shit.
It's because it happened when it did. Like that's what I'm saying is like it they were just the ones that will go like, what if we just sang a song about holding hands? And they're like, what?
Well, yeah, no,
Really? And
that's
that's how
actually
it started.
such a good distinction because there are bands that stand the test of time, and then there's bands they're one of my favorite, but I bring them up all the time. There's bands like the Ramones that sound super dated because I think the key element of it is bands that are very easy to replicate. So
Mm.
a band like the Ramones is very easy to replicate. Trying to think like Jimi Hendrix stands the test of time because it's not that easy to just do Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. Lenny Kravitz did it.
no, he didn't.
Okay.
You think Lenny Kravitz did Jimi Hendrix? I mean, he did Jimi Hendrix type shit, but I'm
Yeah.
saying
That's what he
like,
was trying to do. I mean, he that's how
but
he
you,
became famous.
but you understand the distinction of like you can do Jimi Hendrix esque shit, but like you can just like do the Ramones easy. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
saying to encapsulate what made Jimi Hendrix special is like you can't really replicate that. You can get in the ballpark, but you can't really just like do that where you go, oh now Jimi Hendrix is boring because everyone else can recreate Jimi Hendrix at the drop of a dime. It's
Yeah.
like no, you can have a bunch of musicians who go, oh yeah, you clearly listen to Jimi Hendrix. It's how like when you listen to like when you listen to the first Blink albums, you go, oh, they obviously like the Descendants, but it's not like a one for one Descendants ripoff. Like you listen to some bands now and you go, this sounds like a Ramones song. It doesn't sound inspired by the Ramones. It sounds like a Ramones song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
agree.
I thought you were gonna say more than yeah. Yeah, I should let's jump over into this because I talked about this on the New Music Friday stream, which twitch.tv/Big Red aka Andy. Catch us over there on most Fridays. We'll be talking about new music. Actually, we did talk about I always ask you, Pat, what you've been listening to, but you guys will know later tonight when the video premieres. We were talking about the new Capra album,
Oh, yeah.
which was fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
We listened to a bunch of songs on the stream over there, and I clipped it up. And the video will be coming out tonight, or if you're watching this in the future, it'll be on the YouTube channel. So go check that the fuck out. But also, I didn't clip this up, and I still wanted to talk about it for the people, so I wore the shirt again. But let's my bootleg shirt came in. I just wanted to show everyone because it's not the official shirt, but it's a goddamn good fucking shirt. It was very funny. Do you have a wife with a sensitive nose? Because I do, and it's
I'm the sensitive nose in the house.
You got the sensitive schnoz.
Yeah,
it's I don't know how to ask this because you have the sensitive, but from my perspective, it's like I look her in the face and I go, okay, you're clearly not lying to me, but it feels like gaslighting because I'm always like, I'm not being bothered the way you're being bothered. And it was so funny. She was like, you got to get, because I wore it to bed and she was like, you got to take that shirt off. It reeks of vinegar. And I was like, what?
What?
But she looks in pain, so I have to take her word for it. But here's the thing. I never this is why you build up trust in a marriage, because for the longest time I was just, because she would do that shit all the fucking time. Like we'd be in the kitchen and she'd be like, something smells rotten under the sink, and I'd be like, I don't fucking know. So but I just take her word for it because I trust her. But yeah, she said it was like reeking of fucking vinegar, so I had to like put it in the other room when we went to bed.
That's crazy. So wait, so you were wearing that to bed, like you were gonna sleep in that shirt?
Well, I wore it when we did the pod, and then I was doing whatever Friday, and then it was bedtime, so I was still wearing this, so I just hopped in bed.
So I'm confused. Like, is it like, so you don't smell any vinegar? Did you wash it when you got it?
She washed it already, yeah.
So yeah, what the fuck? Maybe that's really interesting. I've never gotten like a shirt or anything like that. It's ironically enough, I wash my clothes in vinegar. I use a cup full of distilled white vinegar in every wash with your soap or whatever. It's actually a natural disinfectant, and it also eliminates odor. So that's the part that I'm very confused about, is the fact that she's washed it already.
Well, I think the vinegar smell came from sorry, I'm laughing because I got my one topic I want to bring up for you because band shirt. We always love talking about merch. I want to talk to you about Doja Cat, but this is the picture I have up, and it's so as I'm talking to you, Doja Cat's just staring at me like, when are you gonna talk about me, Andy?
Go on. Tell them about the End It shirt. Anyway, vinegar. What about me? How do I smell?
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever bootleg Chinese warehouse this was fucking made in, they probably just they also were selling vinegar or something. I don't know. I have no fucking clue. I just enjoy my bootleg blurry End It shirt. Yeah, you can't, for people, we already talked about this, but so real quick, for people watching, you can't really tell, but the funniest part about the shirt is it's very clearly just blurry. Yeah. Like it looks good here, but in person, it's like if you took a low quality picture and just made it a lot bigger.
So something I don't think we talked about in the last video, but I wanted a little clarification. I don't think I realized this. You said it's not the original. They did have a design like that, or they do have a design like that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I should give people that context too. So apparently, like one of the band, this is how I got duped. One of the band members posted the picture of the design he was working on. I think that's what I think happened.
Oh, he was working on. Oh, okay.
That's my assumption. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
I see. Stop writing it down. Stop quoting me on that. I hate when people say that. Who did I call it? Did I call you out for that?
What?
I called someone goes, "Oh, I'm famous for that," and I just turn. I go, "Famous?" like just around the world.
Yeah.
Like just with or just with America. Like
I feel like if you were known for that, you wouldn't have to tell people you were known for that. So like you could
yeah, I
probably
would
just
just
go.
know that. Like if you were
If you just go like,
famous.
I go to a lot of circuses. Oh yeah, you're the circus guy. Yeah, you're that guy. I've heard of you.
You're Circus Coral. I know you, dude.
Oh my god.
That's
Oh
you.
my god. You're
You're
world
Circus
famous.
Coral. I always say no, even if you say notorious, that even implies like people fucking know about you.
I like to say I'm a big blah 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 whatever
Fat
guy.
fuck.
Yeah, well no, I don't say that. I don't say I'm a big fat fuck guy. I love fucking fat. You know what I mean? I'm a big fat fuck guy.
I'm a big that would be great. Oh, I'm a real fat fuck type of guy.
Oh yeah, I'm a big fat fuck. That's me. Actually, I do say that. That's myself. What am I saying? But but notorious, no, not necessarily. But yeah. I would say I didn't know that was something that they were like working on, and that's where
that's what I was
came from.
That's what I was saying. As I believe it was one of the band members. He posted this picture and he goes, "What do you he captioned it like what you know about this or some shit like that." And then some random Twitter account was like, "I just got myself one," and posted a link, which the guy who originally posted it, under that he went, "No, like don't post this." But it's like, dog, it's your Twitter.
Yeah,
you can block that tweet.
Yeah.
You can easily make it so idiots like me don't buy bootleg End It merch. And but yeah, so I ended up buying it. I was on the website, I purchased it, and after I was done purchasing it, I think back and I go, they were giving me, I go on the website and they like, you have the t-shirt design, then they're like, do you want that in a t-shirt or a crew neck or a sweatshirt or a tank top? And you're like, oh yeah, that's the thing that no band website ever gives you the option of. And then they gave you like 50 t-shirt color designs, and you're like, and then it hit me afterwards because I was just excited because this design does fucking rule. Sailor Moon with big fat titties and a handgun and like Tim's and baggy pants on, or I don't know if they're Tim. No, they're like Tim-esque. But yeah, so I just was all hyped to get the fucking shirt because the design fucking rules. But then after I purchased it, it hit me and I was like, oh, I just bought bootleg merch, so I felt for shame. So I said it on the stream. I said it on the stream, but I'll say it again. I owe you 2 t-shirts. I'm gonna buy 2 t-shirts or 2 types of merch because I know they sell gym shorts and stuff like that. There could be some cool ass Ended gym shorts, but I already got a Kubicon knife, but that's for my left hand. Right hand could be the Ended knife.
You got any right-handed Ended knives?
I'm just saying, Kubicon's my left-hand knife. I'm gonna need a right-handed knife. So Ended, if you're listening, let's put out some right-handed.
That's not a knife that he's wearing, but you could show him a knife.
I could. I should get a right-handed.
You know what I think is, if they do put this shirt out, the other shirt, one of the other shirts, you should buy that one and do like one of those things where if you're a fan of a player that goes to another team and you sew 2 shirts together.
Half and half.
You should sew the real one next to the blurry one and just be like, yeah, and then you have 2 half and half shirts.
That'd be funny. Or I get the real shirt and I put this over the real shirt, go to the End It show. They get mad at me. They're like, you bought our bootleg merch, you piece of shit. And I go, guys, take it off. They see the real shirt, and then I burn the fake shirt, twirl it.
And then you get kicked out for setting a fire. And then
they go, you started a fire. We only let you guys throw tables in here. Please don't start that fire.
You're under arrest now. You're under arrest. And actually, oh, no, it upgraded. Remember, they've what was the thing that I sent you? I feel like I sent you a thing that they had a door or something like that. It's like just construction products. It was a while ago on Instagram. No, I think it was on Instagram. It was like some kind of it was another pit. It was not End It. It was another hardcore show, but it was, dude, I think what it is when they have it at a like a what are those called? The lodges, you know what I mean? If you have it at a lodge or community center or something like that, they never really put away the other stuff. So eventually, if there's going to be a show, they're going to end up getting into the party supplies for whoever's retirement party was last Thursday, that you just kind of shoved it all in a corner. You can't
Yeah,
do
if
that
they're
in
at like the
hardcore show.
VFW hall and shit like that.
VFW. That's what I was trying. I was going to say POW for some reason. VFW. The
POW.
prisoner of war lounges.
POWs are the ones who go to those and get drunk.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Yeah, like,
I remember this video you fucking sent me. I actually was laughing because I was like, that's a little much, guys.
right? Isn't it crazy? I can't remember what the object was. What is it again? Isn't it a door? Or is it
It
a
was
whole
here, I got it. It's a ladder, but it's like how
ladder?
he's using the ladder.
Yeah. Yeah, he just has it. It's like a weapon.
Yeah, wait, I'm trying to bring this up without. Okay, I'm not showing you guys anything bad.
Damn it.
Sorry, I check out my bank account while I podcast. I don't want to show
do
you
my
guys
bookkeeping during the show.
Yeah, so he's got like the fucking. He just throws it at a bunch of people.
It looks like he's like attacking someone. That's what it looks like. And now they're just tossing it around. That's just a hazard. And there's a table or there's a chair. I think there's multiple ladders, or is it the same one? Bam. And like again, that person just went like that.
This is why
nobody's matching his energy.
Bro, you know how like yeah, that's the part. There was something about the end it clip where like as they're fucking throwing the table,
everybody's into it.
You could just sense everyone was like, this is okay. This is completely okay.
There's that ladder at somebody.
There's something with this that everyone's just kind of like, please stop, John. John, why do you always get like this, dude? Just stop.
Like, and when he like right here, when right after the beginning part, he does this part, and then he goes over, he does this, and then he goes, and then this.
Just kicks like a girl.
He's going after somebody. I think he's like hey, he's essentially you if you didn't read the room. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if you know how you like to go into the pit and you have a pleasant chaotic time with your buddies.
So I was only hitting you guys.
Right, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. If he is only hitting his friends, he's the worst person in the world.
There's no way he has that many friends. He had like 6 people.
No way this guy has
There's
that many
no way
friends.
he has 6 friends.
And they're all here? No way. And also, look, and that person that he's following somebody in the initial beginning part, and he like hits them in the back of the head. You can really fucking hurt somebody hitting them in the back of the head. That's
Dude,
really
it's funny. Oh, 100%. It's funny too when they like it's really funny when dudes meet. That's why I'm always conscious of like what I'm wearing. I was joking about this on panties where I was like, dude, it's why I don't wear overalls because they just make too much sense with my body. You know what I mean? Like I try to keep them guessing. You know, I don't want to just fall into what my face looks like. So that's how although I do that a lot, but at the same time, it's like one time I was going to Wawa and I see this dude pull up in like just the gayest looking Corvette and it's loud and he's blasting music. And then I see him, he's got dickhead shades on and he's just smoking a cigar while driving, which I did one time because I had a bunch of cigars and I was like still smoking one and I had to go somewhere. And I had an old shitty car at the time, so I was like, fuck it, I'll smoke a cigar in this. I started driving. I got probably like a minute driving. I go, oh, I feel like the biggest, and I just threw it out the window. I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
So I see him smoke. He's just he's just checking off every box.
Every
and I'm looking at him. I'm like, oh, do the last one. And then he gets out of the car and he's just short as shit. And I was like, dude, of course. Like and I'm not shitting on, dude. I love the short kings out there. Shout out short kings. I'm just saying, like, don't check off so many boxes. It's fucking crazy.
Don't be every stereotype.
Say again.
Don't be every stereotype. You gotta leave some mystery.
Don't hit every single fucking one. It's insane when you do that. And this guy right here has that where he looks like he's got some sort of blue collar job. He's in shape, but he's also kind of short. Yeah. And you can just see it on him. You're like, oh, your friends are all taller than you and beat you up. This is when you get to this is when the level playing ground is now presented to itself. This is actually the exact reason why I don't eat as much as I want to at every buffet, because I feel like people are watching me and they're like, watch, he's going to go back up. Watch. That's 2. That's 2 plates. All right, watch. I said 5. What did you have? 6? Like I imagine people at other tables are like, watch him. Watch. He's going to go back up. You know which one I just, speaking of food, the one that I just said, fuck it. And I stopped giving a fuck about. Yeah. when you're at a party or like you're at work and they get lunch for everyone and then the food shows up and then like because I'll get it at work where the food will show up. I'll be the first one to grab a pizza and then a slice of pizza and someone goes, oh yeah, of course you're getting pizza, Andy, and I'll just be like, you don't want pizza? You don't want, of course you want, everyone wants this. So let's stop being like, I don't want it as, no, we all really want this. So I'm just the only brave soul that's willing to get it first.
I'm the dickhead that'll be like, now every time you're eating, I'm gonna bring it up.
Yeah.
Every time you eat in front of me, I'm gonna go, oh, you love hamburgers, don't you? You're really scarfing that down, aren't you, piggy?
Yeah.
Aren't you, you big pig bitch?
Yeah. Oh, dude,
and then I get fired.
Yeah, aren't you?
Aren't you, you like, fucking hog?
It's just a 50-year-old lady like, Patrick, why are you talking to me like this?
I was just making a joke. I go nuclear too quick. I go 0 to 60 where they're just like, oh, well, save some for the rest of us. Fuck you.
I get
be faster eating, stupid.
I get annoyed when people when like don't participate in psychological warfare when we're just doing normal people shit. Like, hey, if we're trying to do a deal and and I'm at the fucking auto dealer and I gotta out fucking dickhead this dickhead so I can get some money off my car. Yeah, dude, we'll do psychological warfare. But when it's a nice work lunch and we get fucking pizza, don't do that to me. That's when that's when my brain goes into fucking DEFCON 5 or whatever Kanye was doing on the Jays. Like that's where my brain goes to that, because I go like, oh, this is uncalled for. Like I actually noticed that about myself. I always love to ponder. I always love to fix myself. I always love to look internally and figure out what's wrong. And the thing I do, this is why I go 0 to 60. To quote Drake, famously dickheadish hairstyles. I'll post that clip tomorrow. Yeah, yeah, dude, we can't. I'm telling you guys, those new music streams are too fucking hot. You gotta watch them before I clip them up.
Twitch.
But no, Drake. To quote Drake, I go 0 to 60, 0 to 100, real fucking quick, and then I don't say the next word he says. It's the N word.
Non-stick, huh?
No. Yes, dude. Real fucking
picking
quick.
Any other anytime somebody says the N-word from now on, I pick any other N-word and I go, oh, Nutella? Can't talk about hazelnut, huh?
Yeah.
Allergic? Got it.
That's not ours. We're not we're peanut people. That's not
and nuts. Sorry, and nuts.
But no. I was like, on one of my pondering sessions, I realized that's why I justify getting so mad so quickly about shit. And I've had people being like, God damn, Andy, because it'll be like a minor offense and I'll just be like, bah, 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 like hitting them with just some heat. And because in my head, I'll hear you say, like if someone goes, oh, of course you're getting the first slice of pizza, my brain hears that and I go, well, everyone wants pizza, so you're being dishonest. You're doing this to try to bitch me up in front of people. You're bitching me up because you don't respect me. You're my enemy, and this behavior will end me, so you need to be crushed. So that's how my brain goes from 0 to 100 real quick, because it's like I've done all the math.
It's like heckler math. It's like heckler math. If you're like, if this person gets one over on me right now, they own the crowd, and I have to try to win the crowd back from them. Like where that doesn't happen in real life. There's no crowd.
It's like after all these fucking self-help books I've read and shit. Like I know too much about psychology, so when you say that, I know why you're doing that.
You will not stifle my light. I will not let you stifle my light. My light will shine bright. What? What the fuck you talking? You're just saying like mantras to them.
Like, okay, Andy, you can have pizza. What the fuck, dude?
You will not stifle my light.
No, but yeah, no, like those self-help books, or you get like the psychology books or any of like the mental health books. I know too much about psychology, so like, yeah, if you say the little shit, I do the math really fucking quick, and I go like, oh, your dad beat you. That's not my problem, fuckhead.
Yeah, suck it, cunt.
I didn't fucking hit you in 3rd grade, and they're like, we're just talking about pizza, Andy.
I go nuclear way too fast, like plenty of times, but like I understand that weird like defensiveness. But I feel the funny thing you brought up about overalls, about like of saying like I don't want to do that. I've actually almost, and I think this is a good part. You're talking about your lovely wife earlier. That is such a benefit from a spouse that loves you. A spouse that loves you is going to tell you smell like vinegar, and a spouse is going to tell you, like I showed Dom, I was getting I ran into Jibs, and ever since I ran into Jibs at I think it was the comedy festival, I complimented him on his overall. What did I say?
Philly?
Yeah, Philly Comedy Festival. What did I say?
No, you said at the comedy festival.
Sorry.
I was clarifying.
I was like, damn, what did I say? I haven't been to a lot of comedy festivals lately, but
you were like, yeah, I was at the Dumb Fuck Comedy Fest. I was like, Pat, Philly.
It was Philly, not Dumb Fuck. But I was there, and I was like saying,
Dumb
like,
Fuck's next month.
These are awesome overalls. And I was like, man, I really wish I could find a pair, but I was like, I don't know how they fucking size this shit. And also, ultimately, because it's practicality, I like the fact that it covers a little bit of the midsection. It kind of smooths some parts out. If you're not, like, even if you're fat, like, it's one of those things where, like, it's still complimenting to fat guys if you get the right size. Do you know what I'm saying? So I was like, this is a thing that I feel like I might need. And then, of course, because I had my phone near me, I was getting nothing but targeted ads. I still get targeted ads. And just one day, I showed Dom, I was like, hey, check it out. Like, what do you think of this? And I showed her, and she goes, no. And I was like, and usually Dom's pretty cool. Like, I'll buy, like, I bought this fucking hoodie that looks, you remember, the one that has every graphic design on it ever invented.
And she didn't say no to that.
She goes, yeah, looks great. She's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. So I was like, so I trust her that when it comes down to overalls, she was like, she had your same mindset of like, don't also be that one. Take another trip to the buffet. Don't buy overalls. How about that?
Well, you got to think about it. You got to think about it like you're an 80s wrestler.
Yeah. Okay.
So based off you and too quickly.
You're I'm on board.
Huh?
No. Like, I'm on board. I'm listening.
Exactly. Wait, what?
Yeah. Jake the Snake or Junkyard Dog? What do you think?
For you, Jake the Snake. More because of the drug use. No, you gotta think. So like, you gotta think based off your face and your demeanor. Like, if someone was looking at you just based off how you look, and they go like they were thinking of a wrestler for you, they'd be like, oh, that's the mechanic, and they'd put you in fucking overalls, and it would just, because it would make sense because of how your face looks. That's how you got to think about clothes and shit like that. You know, that's why if I walk around in flannel and my beanie, and it's similar to like when people get, or wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. It's like when I walk around in like flannel and a beanie and people make lumberjack jokes. Like, that's not, and then, you know, some people would be like, oh, I've heard this 1,000.
You're right, yeah.
It's like, I've heard this 1,000 times, and it's like, well, you're the dickhead you're a big boy with a beard wearing a fucking flannel. It's not their fault. It's the same thing when, this is the thought I got ahead of myself on. It's like I have this tattoo, and people always ask me what it means. And now, am I annoyed that I've had to explain it 1,000 times? Yes, but I bought the fucking tattoo in view of everyone. Like, people who get annoyed in explaining their tattoos, you're like, you know, it's an easy way to avoid that. Not get the fucking tattoo.
Yeah. I kind of feel like there's also this weird thing of, you know what you were saying earlier about like, what are you accomplishing by shaming me getting the first piece of pizza? Like, obviously there's nothing to gain by that except for the fact that you're just insulting me. So like,
you're just trying to make me look like a dickhead.
So I feel like that kind of the same thing of like, this is the same energy as like, of, damn it, I lost my point already.
I'm sorry, I interrupted. And that's why jokes like that, I'm more prone to getting annoyed and not going along with them. Right. Because I'm very autistic. I always love to throw this out. I'm just a reminder, I'm very autistic. So I have these rules. I have these about me being autistic. That jogged your brain.
No, but I have it in here now, so it's stuck. So it's good now. You can go ahead.
I have these rules to life that make sense to me. I don't let anyone know them, and if they don't follow them, then I justifiably get furious at them. Yeah. That's how life works. That's my white privilege.
Damn, dude, I have the weirdest
rule.
I'm
telling you, dude, read the ADHD book. I think you got it too.
Married life for me is anytime, this is one of my little fun rules that I have. If my wife brings up the fact that there's a mess that needs to be cleaned up, I will not be the one that cleans it up. I don't know what it is, dude. If she brings up
Well, that's
the
like the
issue,
bullshit at work. Like if you're at work and you're like, yo, someone the fucking toilet's all overflowing and messed up, and then every single fucking time your boss goes, oh, okay, well, can you get to that? And you're like,
yeah,
no, I didn't bring it up to clean it. I brought it up so you could find the guy who cleans it. Like we should have a guy who cleans that.
I'm the guy that cleans it. So like I'm the guy that where she's just like, man, somebody really it really needs to be swept down here. And it's like, yeah, there's only 2 people that can do it, and you said it loud enough for me to hear, and you don't have a broom in your hand. So you expect me to do it? So I get super defensive and I'm like, I'm never sweeping there. Like I will sweep every other part of the house, but if you said this is the one part that needs to be swept, I will not. She said she brought up the fact that the dryer was broken 2 years ago, Andy. I still hang my clothes up to dry.
Okay, that's crazy.
I know.
Why would you not fix your dryer?
Because her phone works too. I don't know how to fix a dryer. I know as much about fixing a dryer as she does.
All right, that one,
Googling dryer repairman.
That one's on you. You gotta get that dryer fixed, dude.
But this is my point that I was trying to bring up earlier, was the fact that the explaining of the tattoos, when somebody is bringing up, like, let's just say a stranger asks you, they go like, what does your tattoo mean? Like it's the same idea as, what is the point of you bringing this up? It's the same idea of like when somebody asks me where I get my tattoos, why? What does it matter? What like ultimately, what is this conversation gaining for either one of us? You're not going to go to the place I get my tattoos at. You also don't really give a shit. You don't care. You're just making conversation. You saw something that I have, and you said, I'm gonna open up and I'm gonna talk to this person. And I go, oh, I get them in Florida. But it's also like ultimately, what's the point of this conversation with a stranger? I mean,
I get your logic on now. I wouldn't be annoyed in the same way, but I understand your logic on where did you get that done? Because I understand the logic of you're not going to get a tattoo. Stop asking me this question. But it now, and also too, it's not hard to answer the question, what's your tattoo mean?
Right, exactly.
And also, here's a cheat code for everyone in life. I don't know if you guys know this. You can lie about a lot of stuff.
I do.
And it won't matter.
Yeah.
It won't matter to anyone. You can just lie about things that are inconsequential. Just do that.
Lie to strangers. I want to normalize lying to strangers more. I tell people that they look nice a lot more.
Inconsequential lies. Like I remember I used to be that guy after sets, like at comedy. It's like, well, if they didn't do good, I'm not going to say good job or good set.
No,
bro.
Just
when I'm at the show, everyone had a fucking killer set. I don't give a fuck anymore.
And not only
everyone
that,
killed.
Also, it was a great night. Everybody had a great night, and the crowd was great. It doesn't matter. It's one of those things.
The crowd. I'll be so quick to blame the crowd. It was their fault. I was the best.
This was a great show. It's their fault.
Oh, the thing I was gonna say earlier, back to like the pizza conversation. This is the point I was gonna make where it was like I do too much of the math and I go, oh, you're trying to motherfuck me. Where if someone goes like, if someone makes a joke where they go like, oh, of course you're gonna get the first slice of pizza. The way my brain works, I go, well, there's no version of this that I'm gonna enjoy. So you're just trying to motherfuck me. So you've become my enemy. So now the mission, whenever I'm approached, so I'm being attacked. I'm being assaulted, and I have to respond accordingly. So, but to them and to everyone at that McDonald's, I deserve to get arrested like I did. No, but I wanted to. It's funny. We're watching these clips, and we've talked about this often. So I think we love talking about merch and crowd killing. So why not combine the best of both worlds? Oh. I saw this on Twitter the other day. That's awesome. For everyone just listening, it's just a shirt. It looks like the I Love New York shirt, but it says I Love Crowd Killing.
What's the small print?
This message is brought to you by Roman Candle. So that's either a band or a t-shirt company. And whoever shout out,
Piper.
who's this? Good for you.
Piper.
Pipe, hey, pipes.
Hey, Piper. Everybody come on the stage. Piper. Welcome, Piper.
uh,
Sorry. I'm sorry. That's just what that name reminds me of. It's just like, hey, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you're tipping your bartenders and welcome to stage, Piper.
Well, her Twitter handle's not doing herself favors to break out of this joke because it is Piper Ferrari underscore.
All right, guys. Good girl.
Yeah, I guess. Oh yeah, I guess the band's called Roman Candle.
I love shirts with tits on them. I gotta say, that had tits on it. I might buy that shirt. I don't even know the band is. I like tits.
Oh yeah, those were cartoon titties.
Yeah.
If anyone on YouTube's watching, those were But yeah, I think I might need to start listening to Roman Candle and get this shirt.
I'm gonna, you know what?
It's such a good shirt.
You know what really sucks too is when you see a band that has awesome merch or awesome production or something like that, and then you listen to them and you're like, oh man, but I'm gonna check them out. I'm not saying that that's what they are. Roman Candle, 11.2 thousand monthly listens.
Oh really?
Like only one EP out right now. So this is here we go again, man. A band that doesn't have a release out, that has they have a top 5, but I think they only put out a 5-song EP. Yeah. So like literally, I think this is going to be the norm going forward. I think for bands starting now, I don't know when they started, but if they just have this one, they're a verified artist already. They're Las Vegas hardcore.
Wait, what's the wait? You keep getting ADD. What's the new thing?
Is essentially where a band puts out, like we were talking about this with bands that are like, wasn't it Tsunami? I think was another one that like they're not putting out a full release, but they'll probably put out an EP here, an EP there, an EP, and then like, but the marketing is so on point. They have great merch. They have like pretty professional looking page here. Like this is a cool looking picture. 11,000 listens. They have enough songs to fill out a top 5. You know what I mean? Like it seems like everything it seems like it's very well thought out, that their rollout of this band.
Maybe.
So I'm interested to check them out. I've never heard of them before, but now immediately I see that they have somewhat of a presence. Las Vegas hardcore too. That's very interesting to me.
Yeah, they could just be good. You know what I mean? It might just be this day and age in this world. It's why everyone was thinking that like Oliver Anthony guy was a next level psyop, and I was like, I think he just put out a good song.
He's just,
you know what I mean? It's like
he's the full package kind of thing, like where you don't see that a lot, where like, oh, they know how to market themselves, or they have somebody behind them that knows how to market them, and they're selling a good product. They're not just horseshit. But this is usually when they have everything else looks so cool, like they got cool merch, they got cool production, they have a presence and all this other shit. You're like, oh boy, here we go. But we're seeing with like Capra is somebody that is like, they're a little bit more, I think they're putting out way more and it's really good shit. But also we don't know when this band started. They might be red hot right now. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I'm excited to check them out.
When you were playing in bands when you were younger, did you ever have the other local bands that would just be doing like too fucking much?
Yeah, I think actually I was in one of those bands. The last band I was in,
it was my band.
Well, no, they were a band that were trying to do too much. Like we had like 2 or 3 songs written, done, that we would rehearse a lot and weren't even great, like super solid with, but they were talking about where they wanted to book shows and all this other shit. I'm like, dude, we have 3 songs. What are we talking about? Like, we have to continue. They were like, okay, so we're all right. We're already writing songs already, so we should start booking shows and think about merch. And I was like, what the fuck? We need a name and we need to write more songs. Like, those are 2 things we need to all agree on before we can even start thinking about a fucking audience. So I don't know. I don't think that what were they called again?
Roman Candles.
Roman Candle. I don't think Roman Candle.
No, I wasn't
only
saying
has 5
that
songs, but I'm just saying that like.
No, I wasn't saying that in reference to them. I was just saying it so I could bring. I was gonna shit on this band I played shows with back in the day. I didn't think. Well, no, because No, the I'm looking at like that you. It was a really good point you were making about Roman Candle, where like they're a small. Would you say they had like 11,000 monthly listens on Spotify, but
Yeah.
at the same time, they have a very professional setup. I think that's the benefit of the modern age, where there's just a lot more resources to make
Oh.
your shit look a lot more professional. I was more getting at. So there was this one band we would do shows with every so often, and they were one of those like they were like pop punk, but kind of being like cool guy pop punk. Where they were like, just a little bit fucking like, like trying to be hot guys or whatever the fuck. And they would bring, you ever see like a band when they're playing like a stadium or like a big theater type venue, and they have those, or even on Warped Tour, where they have those, the boxes on stage where the lead singer,
yeah,
dude, we were playing like a multi-purpose room at a Penn State satellite university, and they brought boxes that they could do their synchronized. Now we were talking about them last week with All Hail Captain Ship or whatever the fuck that Japanese band was.
Yeah.
We love some synchronized shit, but it's so funny to bring your own boxes to a fucking multi-purpose room at a Penn State satellite school. And then they also had like their lighting setup, which was funny at that particular show because they didn't turn the lights off and they didn't ask anyone to turn the lights off. So they just have all these like colorful lights blasting in this fucking well-lit room.
Yeah.
But then I remember, so at that time, like MySpace and all this other shit was popular. People's cameras were getting better so that you could post video. And I'm not proud of this, but I like to check in on people to hopefully watch when they fail. You know what I mean? You ever do that when you don't like someone, so you kind of keep tabs on them to see when they fall on their face, and then you feel good about it. Like, I'm not proud of it, but I was participating in that, and then I saw this show that they did at fucking Croc Rock. So which was like the popular mid-sized venue where I grew up in PA. Like it'd be when you graduated from the fucking VFW hall.
Yeah.
It was like a decent sized bar. It was funny. Our favorite band, Every Time I Die, is closely associated with their downfall because Every Time I Die was supposed to play a show there. Then they got in trouble. I think I don't know if it was an accident or they were just being sloppy or whatever the fuck, but I believe, don't quote me on this either. I know you work for the press. No, put those down.
Be careful. Nope.
Put those down.
I'm ready. Go for it. Go ahead.
Do not quote me.
Go ahead, Andy. Try and say it. Try and
keep them up.
Go for it.
If I see those fingers flinch. But I believe it was because they served an underage. Oh no! God damn it! Oh, it already hit press. No, I believe they served an underage kid alcohol and they got in trouble and lost their liquor license. I don't know if that's exactly what happened, but either way, they lost their liquor license. Every Time I Die was doing a show there. They found that out and they were like, not with our audience.
Yeah, that's not gonna bode well for us.
So they hit up Reverb in Reading, which is essentially like generally the same size as Croc Rock and Allentown. And they just, like that night, they shifted the show over to Reverb, which is not a bad hike. Like if I'm remembering correctly, Reading was probably like 40 minutes from Allentown. So, it sucks that your ride went from 5 to 40 minutes, but it's pretty doable, especially for like Every Time I Die fans who are pretty fucking rabid. But so this band I was shitting on earlier did a show at Croc Rock and they posted video from it. And Pat, let me tell you how they ended their fucking show. So they're like a pop punk band, which we've talked about plenty of time. Got no problem with pop punk. They were honestly playing a few cover songs. They're playing like some Green Day cover songs, some shit like that I like. And then I see them this is how they end their fucking set. They all go to the edge of the stage, sit on the edge of the stage, and play Good Ritten's Time of Your Life by Green Day. And I'm like,
you can't close with a cover, dude. I mean, you can't close with a cover.
But you can't close with your like, this is us being emotional, but it's also a Green Day song. And then also too, because that goes back, it almost goes back to what you were saying about the dudes in the band you were in, who it's like you wrote fucking 3 songs and now you're talking about like, oh, what merch are we going to make? And our fans are going to do this and that. And you're like, you're cheating.
Yeah.
Cause you're doing the whole sentimental thing that a band gets to do when they've earned it, like 10,
Right.
20 years into doing it, but
Right.
you're using another band's song who everyone has already attached emotional feelings to, and just, you're cheating, and and it's just, it was like the most cringy thing to fucking see. So
I guess that's I want to amend what I was just saying. You can't, not that you can't close with a cover. You can't close with their closer. Like you can't. I'm
can't
pretty
close
sure.
with their like emotional closer.
Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? Like you can't do the thing where like this is their ballad or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Unless you're doing all covers, you can't end with a cover like that. Like you can't just sit there and go like, because you're right. What you're doing is you're evoking the feelings that they were evoking. You're
That
just
they
like reiterating their evocation
that
of
they
those
earned.
feelings. Yeah, they earn that from their they're talking about, I guess we they're talking about is we and our fans had the
Yeah.
time of our lives. Okay, we had the time of our lives, not you. You didn't
Wasn't
have the
that
time
one of
of
the
our lives.
Wasn't that one of the songs too that everyone used at their like graduation? And you're like, this song's
It was a
actually
song for
about.
everything. Friends fucking used it, for Christ's sake. Wasn't it
But wasn't
Friends, or was it Seinfeld? Seinfeld did that.
I think it was Seinfeld.
It was like, dude, what are you like? That was to me. I love Seinfeld. Seinfeld is one of my favorite shows because I feel like they never took themselves seriously. And when they did that, I was like, ugh. I remember actually watching. This is so funny. Real time reaction when I was watching that, like the finale of Seinfeld, and they're doing like that or whatever that was on. I think that was like the episode before or something. And they were
Yeah.
like, I guess we had the time. And I went, yuck. I just went like, come on, like really? This is the one where we're all gonna hug and we're all gonna say, oh, this was so like it
I'll
had
say
no
for
real meaning to it most of the time. I love that show. It means
well,
something to me, but like when you go, oh yeah, I guess this is it. Like don't bring it up, you
I
fucking
think that
weirdos.
yeah, I think I will say this. I think Seinfeld gets a pass because they have a good history of not taking themselves too seriously. So, last episode when you're on the top, I guess you get that.
Yeah.
In my opinion, you get that. But
Play it at the rap party. Don't play it on the fucking show.
but the other part about that song was, from what I heard, I'm not going based off I'm not going based off my knowledge. I'm going based off what other people have said. Isn't that song like people would just glob onto the line, "We hope you had the time of your life," and
Right.
it would feel nice to play it at a dance, but it was actually like about some super sad, fucked up shit or something.
Yeah. It usually is. Usually most of like that super poppy song 99 red balloons or whatever is about nuclear holocaust. You know what I mean? Like it's not they're always about some kind of fucked up shit. Like it's always going to be again, and that's why
Oh
you
yeah,
can't
here.
just immediately use someone else's personal song as your
Yeah, that's
also personal song.
insane. To end your like small show at the downstairs room in
And
Croc
all of
Rock.
them to sit at the front of the stage like that when
Dude, it was
that's so corny. It's just
crazy.
like, hey guys, this is your chance to come up and touch us if you want to. And like they're sitting, but their feet are touching the floor. Like that's how small the stage is. Like their knees are up a little bit.
It's just
You can't hang your feet off the stage. Your feet are flat on the ground, and you're just like, okay, I'm not even really sitting now. I can just
It's
we're
like
just
when
gonna
you
stand
do
at the front of the stage.
it's like when you do a comedy show and they're like, "There's the stage," and you're like, "Those are pallets."
Yeah, you have two
So it's not
pallets
a.
that you
Those
put.
are pallets. Now I understand there's a psychological thing when you're physically higher than the crowd, but those are pallets. That's not a
Yeah.
stage. Yeah, according to my quick Google search, it says Good Ritten's Time of Your Life is about Billy Joe's girlfriend named Amanda who moved to Ecuador with him naming the song Good Riddance to show his anger towards this. Yeah, so it's just him being like, good, I'm glad you're fucking gone. But everyone uses it as, man, we had such a great, whoa, all the memories. We had such a great time. Hey, Pat.
What?
Hey, you
Hey.
doing a podcast, Pat?
Who said that?
Oh dude, there was another clip you sent me that I wanted to bring up actually cuz I was scrolling through finding the one clip you sent me a while ago and then I remembered another one that actually I felt closer to you on this clip because I saw a bunch of people online shitting on this clip. And then, but I had the same feeling where, because people do this thing. Now, don't get me wrong. When we showed, this makes me this makes me laugh so hard.
It's to me okay. So it's I don't know the band again. What is it? What's it say?
Bring your band fight to a new level. Tourniquet. Good
Tourniquet.
Band name.
Tourniquet. Yeah. So Tourniquet is the lead singer. Is this? They're the a bunch of wafy boys. You know what I mean? Like the old school hardcore tight jeans and everything like that. Got his front. He's got his front man shit going on. And then I don't know. Is that the guitar? That's a guitar player, right?
It's guitarist. He's just hitting the front man.
Tosses it. No, that is bassist. Is it the bassist? Damn, because
no, I think it's the guitar.
To me, that's the difference. That's there's a little bit more heft to a bass.
Yeah, that's the guitar, dude. He's just first clip runs at him with the guitar still on, beats the fuck out of him, and then next clip throws the guitar. Dude, I'm sorry, because like people always do this. People always do this where it's like, oh yeah, it's just like they'll be like, oh, it's these hardcore guys with anger problems, and I always want to be like, yeah, why the fuck do you think I listen to this music? Because I get really angry sometimes, and this feels nice.
Right. It feels like empathetic. It feels therapeutic, and also like again, it's one of those things of like I never have understood anyone like any woman's point of view or any male's point of view when they just say like, oh, I just have to fucking dance. And it's like, oh no, I get it. This is again, I still I know that that we as a culture, as a hardcore and metal culture, call it dancing. You know what I mean? But it's I still hesitate to call it dancing. But this is our physical release. Our physical release
you're expelling
is balling up
anger.
your fist and just going like fucking that thing. Like and then you just swing around. You have a good time. It's done in this safe space. It's like, you know how you can say anything in therapy. It's the same thing. You can do anything in the pit that you really want. You can grab a chair. You can grab a table. You can do whatever you want. It's understood. Read the room and let go.
Sorry, I'm still watching the clip. It's so funny, dude. Because when he throws the guitar, dude, when he throws the guitar at him at the next part. No, because it's like people. It's weird, man. What's up, Brock? Thanks for hopping in the chat, bro.
What up, dude?
It's like people take this shit so, like, literally. It's like he doesn't.
Yeah. That's my favorite part. Like I said, he picks it up over his head and he hucks his guitar at him. And I think the funniest thing is the fact that there's this big open space. There's people pitting, but I feel like people are like hanging back a little bit because they're all going like, is this for real? Are these guys?
I get it too. Yeah, that's a good point. When you first see that, you go, "The fuck? What's going on?" But no, it is like, dude, I get it because. Like,
can I quote you on that?
The fuck?
The fuck?
I get it because I'm a type of person, and I'm not, not saying this. I hate when people like, I'm actually very mentally ill. Like, I hate those people so much. I would, if there was a button to stop being like this, I would do it in a heartbeat. Oh my Christ, dude. No, but I have a general thing where like in a lot of settings I'll feel like uncomfortable or I'll feel like out of place. I'll be like this doesn't fully, I don't feel fully a part of this all the time. But it was like, when I go see hardcore bands and I throw a few back and the shit starts playing, it's like I don't feel self-conscious. I go, oh, this all makes sense. So
yeah,
and like you said, it's this expression of your feelings and anger and stuff like that. So this to me just goes, oh, that's just what the music told him to do. And it's like dude, it's like I don't know what to tell you. It's a violent type of music. Like I get it. It comes off weird, but this just seems this just seems like a version of expression. Fast forward to what?
Here, go ahead.
No, I was gonna make a joke. Fast forward to a week from now, And they're like, Tourniquet broke up because they all hate each other.
Right. That's what I'm saying is like it's kind of like ultimately there's some truth in that. Like I'm sure but it's also like as long as everybody's okay. But I think there's like you said, I know it looks weird. The thing is, uh what's the kind of dancing that like the I'm trying to think it. Like the stomp the yard shit, like
Yeah,
the
it's like
dance fighting.
crunking.
Yeah, like it's like the shit like Stylebender does. Like I think that looks weird as fuck. And I think it looks crazy. But I don't judge it because I understand it more now of like that's if you listen to like Justin Timberlake or you listen to Prince or some shit, like you dance differently. It's a different you don't swing fists, you don't fucking like it's nothing like that. It's how the music, the art moves through you. If you don't connect with the art, then you're not going to understand that thing. That's what I'm saying is I understand the release part of it now, but crumping and shit like that looks fucking dumb. It
Yeah,
like
there's a
it does
lot of
not look
dancing that
any
looks
cooler than
fucking
swinging your
stupid.
fist around or your feet. You know what I mean? Like you look just as dumb as we do. So don't try to sit there and go like, no, but ours is culturally cool. Like ours is culturally cool too, but you just don't
Well,
understand the culture.
and also too, there is a thing where it's like, don't like I I like the idea of being in a quote unquote violent situation where you don't have to worry about like dying or getting very, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you can put yourself in this super violent situation, but like you'll be good afterwards, you know?
Yeah.
You're not good. It's not like you're starting a fight at a bar and you have to worry that someone fucking $1 million babies you and shit
It's
like
more like
that.
right. It's more like a rage room where like you're like the likelihood, honestly, the likelihood that you're going to get seriously injured is very, very low.
Yeah,
And
most of
not
the
only
times if
that, but if
someone
you do, somebody will take care of you. Like that's the thing is it's not a fight. It is literally that's the exact same thing. Gymnasts get hurt. Fucking the people that are doing front flips and doing little like break dancing and shit like that. Those people get hurt too. You have to like you're not going to be great at it starting out. Like you can't tell me you can naturally do a headstand fucking spinneroonie like first try. There's gonna be lots of scabs and
well
scrapes and shit like
actually
that.
yeah,
So
bringing up that type of breakdancing because like I'm more of the preference because I love the idea of putting yourself in like a violent situation, but then you think about all the possible. I was telling you earlier, I'm a big thinking of the outcomes type of guy. So when you think of all the possible outcomes, you go, oh, I don't want to do that. So to
right,
be able to put yourself in a violent situation where you know you'll be more or less good at the end, you know, I'm fucking 33, I'll be a little bit worse for wear afterwards, but in the grand scheme of things, I'll be good. And on the same note, I would say probably for like, that's why people do a lot of this type of shit, whether it be like breakdancing. It's not a violent situation, but you're putting yourself in an extreme situation.
right.
But you
I,
don't have to like worry about how you'll be at the end of it.
I actually, it's funny too because there's like another thing. My mom used to do line dancing, country line dancing,
Hell yeah.
and I would go to the classes with her and shit like that, like to hang out. The ladies would just, they just love the fact that I usually bring my cat with me and have him in my pocket, and then, obviously I'm a
You bring a
handsome
pocket
guy.
cat?
Yeah, his name
Keep
was
that
Zeke.
thing on you?
Oh yeah, I always had that thing on me. Ezekiel, he's my ride or die.
Were you
He
like Brock? You'd go see country and swing on people
well,
there?
well, that was actually when I had like that's when I had my first like the first kind of like inkling of this of like I'm watching these bitches fucking stomp around to the stupid songs and I'm like sitting there as like a teenager going like what the fuck is this shit? But then I was like I was also in a band at the time and I had a really funny uh or music video idea essentially of shooting it at that because it was at a VFW hall and they have one of those like dance floors with like a little stage and shit like that and it has the weird tinsel and it's like all like whatever you're picturing right now as a VFW hall of how I'm
Yeah.
saying it is exactly how it looks. It's exactly
Yeah.
that. And I was like, "Oh, wouldn't it be funny to have the band on stage when the old ladies are line dancing and then cut to another part or have the punk rockers line dancing and then have another scene where the all the line dancing old ladies were moshing and like just running into each other, but like for real, like
Yeah,
actually
dude.
get them to actually dedicate themselves to fucking running into each other and
Oh
shit.
yeah, dude. Classic music video trope where you're
I
like,
really
the
well,
squares are doing the fun thing, and the fun guys are doing the squares thing.
no, but it doesn't start that way. It starts with the fun guys doing that, and then it ends with all of them doing it together. Both things.
Yes, that sounds nice.
That was, but for a
Um,
teenage young man at the time, that was a little fun idea that I had, and it honestly got me through a lot of line dance classes. That I was like, this is
just
kind of
thinking
weird.
about that one music, just
So, like,
directing a video in your
just
head.
thinking of these fucking ladies tearing up a fucking pit, like legitimately, I thought it was so cool. Just thinking a massive like crowd of elderly people just
Yeah.
fucking tearing it up. Actually, fun fact. This brought me up to a point I wanted to ask you about real quick. Did you see the footage of this is hot news, hot press,
Sexy
hot up?
red sex tape.
No. The Israeli rave that was happening when
Oh,
the Hamas people were fucking parachuting in during the music festival, and they fucking attacked the fucking rave and took people hostage from the, like, can you imagine that happening at a metal show and actually being able to use a wall of death effectively against somebody? They would never do that against us, dude. Try to fucking take over a fucking Lamb of God show. Try. There's
That's
going to be a
so
bunch of
fucking
elderly
fun.
fucking hippies beating the shit out of you.
Yeah, dude. Don't try that at a Knock Loose or Kubla Khan show, Hamas.
You know what I'm
I'll
saying?
be
Like
in the
you start, what would you do? Honestly, what would you do if you were at a festival or a concert or anything like that, outdoor concert, and you saw people like a terrorist, I guess, whatever, soldiers parachuting in during, like, it's happening. Like only a couple people. There's one person that I saw that actually filmed it.
it'd be a real moment to moment thing.
Right? Wouldn't it? You'd have to be like, wait, what is going on? Is this like the Blue Angels or some shit? What are they doing? And then you're
I'd
like,
probably vibe out.
is that a gun?
I would definitely, you definitely slowly start grabbing your girl's arm, maybe start like walking away. Like, wait, is this like a promotional thing? You double check. Are those guns or t-shirt cannons? You try to kind of like feel out the situation.
Right?
And yeah. Getting out of there probably as best as I could, but
You wouldn't stay and fight?
no.
Why? They're intruders on your land, bro. This is your
Because they're
time.
because they're parachuting with guns and I'm high on Molly.
Yeah, dude. By the way, what better music festival to attack besides a fucking rave where a bunch of people are just a bunch of skinny
The
hippies?
most off guard.
I'm
They're
like,
the most
what?
off guard.
What?
That would
What?
suck ass, dude.
What?
But especially too if your mom's like, "Don't go to that rave. Hamas might attack."
You know what I'm saying? Like, what are the odds of like my mom worrying about me going to every concert and me flinging my fist at people forever and ever, and then I go like, I'm gonna take it easy. I'm just gonna go to this fucking rave. I'm just gonna do some drugs and dance with my friends and just be like, what the fuck?
A funny one. So back to the I was thinking about this with line dancing. I had in high school, and I'm still friends with them, but this was we don't live near each other really anymore. But like in high school and like sometime in college, my one group of friends always wanted to go to line dancing. Now I
Really?
don't. I embrace the country music live show because I've never been to one. I would gladly go. A bunch of my friends, but you know how like you always have about 3 friend groups that don't really overlap, and you
Yeah.
have that like you have that one. There's always the friend group that you're like, oh, I only see you guys when I'm with this guy,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
that one of those friend groups is super into country music, so
That's weird.
they know I don't what
I don't know. That's weird to me. I don't know why that's weird to me.
a group of friends being in the country music.
Yeah. Like I
Why
guess
is that
I
weird?
guess,
It's like one of the
well,
most popular genres in the world.
I don't know anybody that's their number one. Like I know people that listen to country music, but I don't
But
know
you
anybody
can, well, okay. You don't know anyone, but you can picture people who that's their
Yeah. No,
top.
I'm sorry. No, I'm just saying
Yeah,
like my personal friends. If you have do you have a friend group that's like in the country?
yeah. That's not what we met on.
Right. I know that. Yeah.
Cause like I said, it was my buddy. It's my buddy Pat number one. It's my buddy Pat. Did you not? I said Pat number one. It looks like you didn't hear me. No. Oh God. Now you definitely can't. Pat number one.
Sorry,
No, so
I'm just
me and
taking
him
it
were
around.
me and him were friends in high school, but he was like 2 years after me. 2 or 3 years after me. We met doing band shit. He was 2 years after me. So I was on my last year of college when he started college. So he was still like forming his friend group. And then I would be out of college when he like sort of so I would go back to his college to hang out with him, and I met a bunch of his friends through that. So, and then one thing they all had in common was they like really fucked with country music and shit like that. But we never, our friendship wasn't based off of like music and shit. It was more like these are all really fun people to drink with.
So Pat number one is a country fan?
So that's really funny.
That's
He
crazy.
listens to, it's not crazy.
It is crazy.
It's not crazy. It's like,
Crazy. He's number one.
yeah.
That's a all right.
Have you ever considered like doing better?
Never. Andy, never.
No, it's funny. Like back in the day, me and him would like I have pictures of him. I have pictures with him wearing like Horse the Band and Blood Brothers shirts, and then he just like he had a girlfriend who was really into it, and he's like, "Oh, this shit kind of like rules." And I'm like the ultra mainstream stuff. I'm like, this might be the worst fucking shit I ever heard, but there's some shit like you ever heard like. There's this one song they would play we would go to this diner by school and they would have jukeboxes at all the booths and they would always play this one song called the Boot Scoot Boogie. And you hear that and you're like, oh, that's stupid.
Yeah.
And then it starts playing it and you're like, well, god damn it, I like the Boot Scoot Boogie, dude.
Right. 90s country slaps for sure. We all know
Yeah.
this. That's true.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
But it's still not like for it to be your number one is still very I understand people exist like this, Andy. I'm just saying that it's just weird that that's their number one to me.
That's not that weird. Like we've talked about it before where it's like if you're not into music, like if that's not your main thing and you're also growing up in a very country friendly environment, you hear some fucking Garth Brooks or some shit like that. I don't know a lot of country.
No.
It's a fun fucking time. If you're not deep into music and you hear Jelly Roll, like I can see that. I don't want to shit on Jelly Roll, by the way, because everything I've heard about him, he's the coolest fucking dude. But his music just doesn't do it for me.
But the example you're giving though is the guy, a guy who is very clearly into music and says, "Oh no. To me, like if you're somebody who is not necessarily huge into music and then and country is presented to you, you're like, oh, this is a fun time, cool, whatever. It's whatever. That's to me is exactly what I'm talking about. I like this. But for you to go like, oh no, listen to this, listen to Boot Scoot Boogie, listen. And that's just like to me, that being like, yeah, it's a fun song, but if that was you're like, no, this is my favorite. It's kind of it is. I'm not saying that.
Sure, I hear where you're coming.
Bad thing. I'm saying that
I hear where you're coming.
Liking Horse the Band and all these other bands, and then you go like, no. Actually, Boot Scoot and Boogie's fun. It's kind of like, what the fuck are you talking about? What happened?
Well, as Pat number two, it's probably hard to understand Pat number one's eclectic taste. But that's just
I like I like also way down yonder on the Chattahoochee.
No, I get not being able to handle all these concepts at the same time. That's more of a Pat number one thing. But no, I hear where you're coming from. Now, it's not like we were at the fucking diner and they were like, Andy, are you sitting? Good. Now, really, really do me a favor and really dig into Boot Scoop. No, we're eating fucking. No, yeah, you did the Pat thing. You did Pat number two shit where you fucking hear a little bit of info and you're like, ooh, I'm about to extrapolate and fucking go deep down this rabbit hole. But no, it would be a thing where you're fucking crushing some pancakes and we're giggling at the diner because we're playing Boot Scoot Boogie too loud. And everyone else at the diner is like, why are we listening to Boot Scoot Boogie?
So was it ironic? Did he like it ironically?
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
So then it wasn't his number. That's what I'm saying. It's like I don't know if it's ever your number one, but it's like a novelty thing. It's like Weird Al. Weird Al's not anybody's favorite. Country was
never Pat number one's number one thing, but it like I don't know, dude. It's like the most it's like one of the most popular genres. Like it makes the most money. It can like just by that sheer number, you're like, well, obviously it's a shitload of people's number one genre.
Right. But also, you know what also is very popular is children's music because it's easy. And it's one of those things that like that. I don't think that it doesn't mean that it doesn't. That's what I'm saying is like for somebody to say that this is my favorite thing and for it to be so simplistic is my thing where I'm like, if you're taking a step back from like, if you loved prog rock and then you're like, actually early or to mid 90s country is actually the key. That's where it is. That's
Well,
the part.
that
But
would
if you're
never
saying,
happen.
if we're snickering and we're playing Boot Scoot and Boogie, and you're like, actually, it's a pretty good song. I get that. Yeah, absolutely. Boot Scoot and Boogie is fun.
You're starting from a place of listening to prog rock, listening to weird metal, listening to stuff like that. If country's your number one, if modern mainstream country's your number one, you're never even remotely considering a prog rock band. You get what I'm saying? It's like we've talked about this before. Everyone always has like one, maybe two, rare like three things they really fucking know. And they can listen to the deep weird shit of that. But everything else, they're kind like everything else you're kind of basic bitches on. And there's some people, you've met them. I'm not trying to be fucking condescending, but there's a lot of NPCs out in the world that just go, I'm going to exist and I'm going to be passive about all this stuff.
Right.
So when you're passive about it and someone presents you a simplistic yet fun country song, you're going to be like, this is my fucking shit.
Right. But what I'm saying is,
what you're saying is if that's going to be your top shit, like, prog rock's not even part of the equation. So I get what you're saying. If you're presented with prog rock and you're like, I like this, you're not going back to fucking country.
That's exactly what Pat number one did. You
no,
said
it's not.
he.
No, it's not.
You said he's in.
I didn't say country was his number one. I didn't say country was his number one.
You said he started dating this girl and then he was like, actually, country is pretty great.
That doesn't mean country's his number one.
But it's still, I don't understand how you can say that's on the same level though. If you're already a prog rock fan, if you're like not an ironic fan of country, that's what I was saying. Like, that's what I'm saying is like, the example you're giving is him being into these other bands. Like,
do you not like any simplistic music?
No, I like simplistic music. I'm just saying that
exactly. So you can fuck with Horse the band, but also like simple music.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You're not just listening to Horse the band all day, every day.
Right.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. What's the awkward silence for?
Well, I feel like if I just say, I'm just going to end up saying the same thing, and then you're going to say the same thing, and we're just.
I'm trying to. We're not. No, I'm just trying to get us both on the same level. Like you can be into intense prog rock and then eventually get presented with some mainstream country music and go, "Oh, this isn't bad." And then when your friends who are like super fucking into it go, "Hey, let's go to this concert," which that was part of a point I was making earlier when I saw my friends going to these like mainstream country shows, I go, the music probably sucks ass, but that looks like a fucking party. Like a lot of those mainstream country shows just look like fucking tailgates. So I can see someone like being into a bunch, but yeah, it doesn't have, it's not necessarily like your top fucking thing, but you could still like vibe out with a group and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I like that smile. You look cute, dude.
I can't see it because my tripod's in the way.
Your what?
My tripod's in the way right here. I can't see it.
Get the fuck out of the way. Get it the fuck out of the way and look at that shit. What is Brock saying? Garth Brooks sold out Notre Dame Stadium in South Bend, Indiana, over 100,000 people. Hell yeah.
I feel like the point was lost that people, I guess maybe Brock and you also assume that I don't understand or that I don't get that country music is popular. I understand it's incredibly popular.
Yeah.
So is pop music. I'm saying that what the point I was trying to make is if you like music with more substance than country music in most cases, or more musical composition depth
Yeah.
that for it to ever make it as your number one after you've liked that, or even as one of the respectable categories of music that you fuck with,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't make sense to me that unless it is ironic or something
Yeah,
like that.
I don't think that person exists. I know what you're saying. Like the person who's deep into prog rock, who then at a certain point goes, bullshit mainstream country is my favorite music.
Right. No
I don't
matter
think that
how many no matter how many country songs I like by an artist or anything like that, I don't know if I would ever go to a show that wasn't punk, metal, or punk or metal really, or rock of some sort. You know what I'm saying? Like
you wouldn't go like say if like
I don't
say
think I
if
would
like
ever. Sorry, go ahead.
say if like 10 of us go, Pat, we're going to this bullshit mainstream horse shit. We got a ticket for you. You want to come? You know what I mean? Like I'd go if I had a bunch of my friends were going to the country show and they had an extra ticket, I'd tag along. Fuck it.
Yeah, I mean, like 10 people, 10 of my friends and a free ticket is hard to pass up. You're right. You're absolutely right. But if it was like, hey, Pat, do you want to go to this or do you want to throw in? I'd go. I don't know if I could. Like, because I
Yeah.
would be so uncomfortable and I would not, or I would go just because I would think that it would be a story either way. But it would never be to say like, oh, I think I'm going to go have a good time. I really do. It's not that I wouldn't be. I want to say that I wouldn't be open to it. I can't, obviously I would go to the show, but it would have to be under those parameters. It would never be like, ooh, blah, blah, blah's in town or something like that. It would have to be, Pat, we're going to pay your way. We're going to give you a ride and we're going to get you fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like it would have to be that, but it would never be in the circumstance of like Fish. I would never go see Fish live unless it was that circumstance because sure, I get it. That's some people's favorite thing. I don't. It doesn't appeal to me almost at all, except for the drugs, obviously. But again, the environment, everybody else unabashedly loving that thing, and me just going like, "What is wrong with all of you?" Like, you know what I mean? Like, this isn't good. I don't like it. I know I would be a fuddy-duddy at that party because I don't think I would be able, I wouldn't have a good time because I don't fucking like this environment. That's what I'm saying. Is like I wouldn't be comfortable there. A football game is one thing. I had to get blackout drunk at a football game because I was just like, this is so fucking boring.
You wouldn't have fun. You wouldn't have fun at a football game?
Tailgating was fun, but that's a barbecue. I'm having fun at a barbecue. If once we go into the stadium, then I'm just paying a lot of money to continue this buzz and to watch. Like, it's fun, I guess, but it's also like I like party, dude. I'll party, but if it's like, oh, you have to go to this arena where they're gonna metal detect you, and then you're gonna pay $14 for a beer. It's kind of like, God damn it!
Yeah,
like, why can't we just listen to country music in the backyard? Then I don't give a shit.
I get what you're saying. Throwing in the financial aspect of it does change it a lot. Like right. I would love to go to a baseball game, but then you remember you're like, oh yeah, $14 beers, fucking $20 nachos.
I can't smoke weed here.
My friend Pat can't smoke weed here.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like legitimately, it's just like one of the things of like, where am I going to go that I'm going to be comfortable? I know I can't. I will pass up the advance of being able to smoke weed to go see Fall of Troy. You know what I mean? Like, because I know I'm going to really like the music. There's going to be a lot of other people that really like the music that I fucks with. But if it's like a football game, I went to a Miami Dolphins versus Cleveland Browns game. And I had no fucking horse in the fight whatsoever.
How far up were you in the seats?
Started in the nosebleeds, by the way, and ended up almost in the end zone, which was pretty cool. Yeah, I don't remember how because I was so fucking blackout drunk. I was so drunk that I remember like parts of it, and I remember my mother-in-law throwing a lime at a Browns fan and say, "Sit down, Dookie Brown." That was pretty funny.
Let's go.
It was my mother-in-law. That was
fun.
And
that's Tom's mom.
Yeah. It was pretty cool. She was a Dolphins fan, so like again.
Yeah, Brock's on board with you. He goes, I agree. I'd rather tailgate and watch the game outside. Yeah, especially, bro. Even too, like, see, I've never been rich, but there is a part of me that like I feel like even if I was rich, I'd still like notice being ripped off. Now,
Right.
for me now, like if it was like an Eagles game and I was a rich dude, I wouldn't give a fuck because I want to go see the Eagles. So I don't give a fuck if I'm rich and it doesn't matter how expensive it is. But if like, yeah, but just on pure enjoyment, like there's still gonna be that part of me that'd be like, you guys did butt fuck me on all this stuff, but at least I got to see the
Right.
Eagles play. But just
Right.
on pure enjoyment, I would a way more enjoyable experience would be tailgating the Eagles and then like going to a bar with massive televisions.
Right. Yeah. And then like just fucking eating nachos, talking shit, fucking drinking some beers. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like you can like, and dude, and this is for all my smoking friends out there, like cigarette smoke. Like when you drink, you like to smoke cigarettes, right? Dude,
Yeah.
at a fucking stadium, that is a nightmare to do that. I
Mm-hmm.
used to smoke and I used to go to hockey games, and our season tickets were on the third level. And to smoke at intermissions, you have to go all the way down to the bottom, all the way to the ground floor. You'd have to get a little fucking mark on your hand. You have to go outside. You have to go like 25 feet away or 50 feet away, whatever the fuck it was from the arena, and
Yeah.
quickly smoke a cigarette and then run back upstairs to try to get to the game. Like, it's a nightmare, dude. Like, why? To me, it's always one of those things. The older I get, again, we've seen memes about it and shit like that, where like people are like, the older you get, the more you appreciate a quiet bar that has good music or some shit like that, or like a shitty, dimly lit bar that you can hang
Not
out and
just not
talk
just
shit with
being
your
old,
friends.
not to cut you off, but not just being older, but also now I've always loved that. But it's
Yeah,
not just being older, it's being in a long-term relationship. Cuz once you like I started noticing it. I would have more fun at bars being single or even early into dating Steph, but after like 5 years, all like every year, all that shit got so much less enjoyable cuz
right.
I was like the beer's expensive, the music's loud. I'm
And
not
usually
trying to
sucks. Yeah.
I'm not trying to get pussy. It's like there's nothing fun in here.
What's the
So,
point? Yeah. Yeah, that's the
yeah.
thing. And again, I don't dance. I don't like any of that stuff. So like me going to these bars or something like that, I'm just this weird creep that's sitting at the table the whole time because I want to just hang out with my friends, but I don't want to fucking get like spend $17 on a shot and then fucking and dance to a song I hate. So it's
Yeah.
like one of those things of like, if we're all in agreement that we want to hang out, like we can do that. But if it's a sport, like if it was like, hey Pat, we're all gonna go to the Trace Atkins show, I go like, okay, I'll see you guys after. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm cool to hang out with you before and after, but I would not sacrifice 3 or 4 hours of my evening to just be near my friends because they're there. I don't have FOMO in that case. I fucking
I
miss me, motherfucker. I don't give a shit about Trace Atkins or any of those motherfuckers.
I would never have FOMO for like a Trace Atkins or like a fucking any of that kind of shit.
Yeah.
But I think the difference between you and me is like, so you go, Andy, do you want to go to this country show with us? I'd be like, nah, there's nothing there I'd have fun with.
Right.
And then if they go, we'll get you your ticket, I'll be like,
That's it. Yeah,
and
that's a
then if
step.
they
Yeah.
go, it gets me closer, but
Yeah.
I'm like, no. And then if someone goes, we'll buy you beers, I was like, yeah, sure, that seems like fun.
Yeah.
I'll go to that because
Yeah.
now you've given me access to more things I can have fun with because I
Nice.
don't have to pay for the ticket and there's more. Now, bringing it back to the earlier thing, if I'm at a thing I want to do, then I will. Then I don't care about paying for beers. But if I'm at a thing I don't want to do and I have to pay for beers, I'm double pissed.
Yeah, it's a weird thing where I I've done that where I've tried to. I had this weird thing where I made an early vow, way like probably even before I was old enough to drink, when I was still like a teenager, because there's a weird theme going on and we've talked about this, about like theme parties happening for a while, and
Yeah.
there was a cutoff point with me where I was just like, I don't fucking like theme parties. I don't fucking like this thing where you're like, you have to wear pajamas, or oh, you have to wear you have to dress up like it's the 70s. And it's like, okay, I'm gonna wear jeans and a t-shirt. That's what they wore in the 70s. And and they go, "Oh, you didn't wear the thing. You're not allowed in." And it's, do you know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
had that experience early on, and there's a weird thing with me, and it's probably the autism. It's probably the fact that I have to be comfortable to have a good time. There has to be some level of comfort.
I think that's everyone, Pat.
But I'm saying like I'm not a
You just
guy that
like less shit.
well, not yeah, I like less shit, but I also like I'm willing to admit that when it's not for me in certain scenarios, when it's like it's a scenario where I'm not going to I will sacrifice less to have a better time less times. Do you know what I'm saying?
Can I say this too? I think
Yeah.
an element of it is people like us. Like I remember even when I was single, like I remember we'd always go to like Reading Comedy. We'd always go to RCO for the open mic. And then like I would always have I think the place was called Nick's.
The bar
You
there?
remember that small ass bar where Nate slapped Hambone?
Yeah, it's attached to it, right? It's right there.
No,
Is it not at
no,
RCO?
it's like it's in Reading. I remember you'd go up, you'd drive past the strip club, and then you'd take a right like a block or two down the road.
Yeah,
It was right there.
right.
I liked going to that because the music was low. It was a nice. It was just like a shitty local bar. It wasn't too fucking exhausting or anything to be in. And the guy who owned it was just chill as hell. Even single, I would prefer to go there than to like stay at the loud ass bar at RCO. That's
Right.
all. And I think you're a similar guy to me. Because here's the thing. I was trying to do a joke about this recently, and I think I bummed out the crowd. But I was just like, this is part of the reason I got so into like podcasting and stuff. Because it's like we all throughout the day. Let me get a little philosophical on you. Throughout the day, like we're doing stuff, but like it really just comes down to people sitting around the table, bullshitting, eating food, and drinking. Like that's most of your fucking day. Or you're like watching TV, and then you meet up with people. You tell them about what you watched on TV,
Right.
and then I was like, so why don't I just like that's kind of life most of the time. Like when are we? And then if you're going out and doing shit, it's still like contrived to a degree where it's like
Yeah.
you go do
Yeah,
a
yeah,
mud run. Well, it's like a contrived thing. You're not, there's a lot of shit that you're going to do, but you don't have to do it. It's not like
Distractions.
back in the day, we'd learn how to throw axes to fucking kill the enemy. Now we're throwing axes because it's a fun little thing. Like, and
Right.
so I was always personally, well, I was theoretically content because I definitely would let peer pressure bother me from time to time. When I say time to time, I mean all the time, constantly.
Yeah. Every day.
Every second of every fucking day.
Right now, how does this hat
No,
look? Is
but
this hat okay?
it's too high, too low, too high. Oh, right there. Yeah, no, but I like theoretically, I'm a very content dude. Like you said, like we don't need a fucking theme party. We're all just gonna like whatever theme it is. We're just gonna end up sitting around in those outfits, talking and bullshitting like we would anyway.
Exactly.
So I go. That's just like what. So I was always like theoretically content in that, but then because that's like generally speaking in society, that's viewed as like boring. When in actuality, it's like, okay, let's go to the loud fucking club and do all. And then what happens at the loud club? We all stand around a table and we can't talk to each other as fucking much.
Right.
It's like we're doing the same thing. It just has a prettier sheen on it. So that's why I was always like, why don't we just let's go to the version of this where we're not lying to ourselves and it's actually more enjoyable and more comfortable.
I'm all about new experiences. Like I'll try new things as long as it's a new thing. If it's a thing that I know doesn't work for me, then I'm not going to like, no, you got to go to this bar that you've never heard of that that plays music you don't like and it's really loud. And it's also the same thing. It's all about intent. You know what the intent is. So it's all going out and having to scream over loud music and pay a fuck ton for a cover or all whatever it may be. All that is you showed the intent that you did something. We went out. We actually went out and did something. Whereas opposed to like the difference between having a barbecue at your house that you have your friends over and you're drinking, you're having fun, all the playing music and stuff, and going out to a bar is control. You have way less control over any of that environment. So if you do this, if you actually have intent and it's only going to be as boring as you are. So if you're having these fucking theme parties and you're still bored, guess what, motherfucker? It's not try another theme. It's fucking get more interesting, you stupid loser.
You know what the difference is? I just realized this. The difference is there's people like us that want to do things that are like more comfortable to our sensibility. And then there's other people, and it's why you see people who like they want to go to the club and they want to get the bottle service and they want to do all that extra shit, and they go, we want to, because we're doing the same thing. We're all sitting around drinking, talking, shooting the shit. But you guys want to do the version of it that makes idiots you've never met impressed. And I don't want to maneuver that way.
Right. It's a thing where if you have this, the fun theme or whatever it may be, it's not that it's like a Halloween party is a Halloween party. You can do whatever, but you can also just say like, you're an adult. That's why, honestly, this is a weird thing. It's not a criticism. It's just like an observation. When I notice that people are still celebrating their birthday well into their like 40s, that's when I start going like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
like,
right.
What are you celebrating? Like, think about it, because you have been on this earth long enough that you know that it doesn't get better each year. So what are you celebrating?
Yeah.
Like you may be happy, you may be content, your life may be great year by year, but like overall, like celebrating that you're 1 year closer to death is crazy. And doing it for a weekend as an adult is even crazier. You go, hey, I'm gonna get all my friends and we're gonna go to the beach because I'm 36. It's like, oh,
I hear what you're saying. You make a really good point, but at the same time, it is important to have excuses for everyone to meet up, because it's like the older you get, the easier it is to fall into a routine and not like hit up people. So it is important to have arbitrary excuses to just meet up.
Right. But you don't.
But I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. It's douchey as shit. Yo, Brock got this really good question actually. Yeah. Would you pay someone to go to a concert with you to see a band you love? No. If they're not into the band, I would not spend a second convincing them to go to the show. No. But if they want to go but they can't, like if that's what you're talking about, like if they need help with money, I guess that's probably not the question he's asking. But if I was like, yo, you'd have a great time, and they were like, oh yeah, I'll go then, I'll be like, I'll get you the fucking ticket. I did that with fucking the Drain show. I didn't know the date for. I just bought 2 tickets to that, like impulsively, and I go, because I'm not gonna want to go to this alone. I'm gonna want a friend to go to this. So I was gonna find one of you guys.
I'm gonna go pee real quick. I'll be right back.
But yeah, for like the Drain show, I was definitely gonna just find someone who would want to go to that. But dude, that's like my least favorite thing in the fucking world, is like trying to convince someone who doesn't want to do a thing to like do a thing. I don't know. I just don't give a flying fuck about that shit. You know what I mean? Just trying to. Now you saw it earlier. If I feel like someone's like we were going back and forth on that thing for like a while, and it's like if I feel like someone's missing what I'm trying to say, there's a difference between like misunderstanding and just being like, oh no, they don't fuck with this. Because sometimes you talk to someone. Like I remember a while ago, I was talking to Nate and I was telling him about Lil Dicky, and he was like, that name sucks. I'm not. And I hear it and I go, all right. He put the walls up pretty high out of the gate. I don't care enough. Because then it's like, there's this weird thing where it's like you're putting forth a lot of energy to convince someone that could give a fuck less. So that to me always feels like a little bit of a lost cause. But I do get excited I'll do that a lot. Like if I talk to my friends and I know what they fuck with and I know what they listen to, and I stumble across a band that I end up really liking and shit, I will get very excited to go hit them up and send them that band and shit like that. But yeah, what else were you guys saying in here? Who would win? That's really funny. Who would win in a real fight, a dolphin or a brown? You goddamn rascal. All right, Pat's back. I wanted to bring up this. We got a little bit of time left. I wanted to bring up this before we get the fuck out of here. I mentioned this way earlier than we kept. Dude, we've been cooking today. This has been a good fucking episode. But Pat, have you seen? This made me laugh so fucking hard. Doja Cat is currently getting in trouble because she posted this. She posted this on Instagram. She ended up deleting it, which I was like, damn, Doja Cat. She posted this on Instagram wearing a shirt with, and for context of the picture on her shirt, so everyone listening, she has a picture of Sam Hyde on her shirt, who, if you guys don't know Sam Hyde, look up like $1 Million Extreme and all this other, like, I don't even know how to fully, he's not like a comedian, but he's like a funny, weird guy on the internet that just does, I don't even know how to, just go look up Sam Hyde. I really don't know how to describe him.
Yeah.
And that particular picture on her shirt, whenever a mass shooting happens, Sam Hyde fans start tweeting it out saying here's a picture of the shooter. Yeah. And then it still happens to this day. I think I saw it happen on one of the last ones. It still happens where local news will see this and like post his picture like he's the actual fucking shooter. Okay. It's so fucking funny. Like that kind of explains Sam Hyde. He just does shit like that when you explain it to someone, you go, that's fucking crazy. Yeah. But yeah, Doja Cat posted this picture and it got, because you can see by the caption, Doja Cat poses for a selfie wearing a t-shirt with neo-Nazi Sam Hyde on it, which for context, neo-Nazi means being a little rascal on the internet. That's what neo-Nazi means.
I was going to ask about that. I was like, what is like what is a neo-Nazi?
What?
Like, what is like a real? I guess I never knew the term. I'm gonna look that up real quick. But so he's not actually like a Nazi. Like
it's like how third wave ska is to ska. You know what I mean? It's just like the new version. No, he's not. He's not like a. I don't believe. I'm not sure, but I don't believe he's like a card carrying member of the Nazi party.
This is a very specific. This is the looks like comprises the post World War II militant, social, and political movements that seek to revive and reinstate Nazi ideology. Okay. Yeah. I didn't hear that in your explanation, and it feels weird that he would be able to like kind of be so famous like that.
Think about it this way. Like I heard a great quote. A racist is someone who beats a progressive in an argument. Like that. It's one of those. It's one of those where like it's more. I actually heard. It's like when Shane got canceled. I heard, Louis J. Gomez. I heard him make this point on a podcast one time where he goes, it's not so much that you're getting canceled. It's you get like industry herpes. So, and then eventually you see with Shane, he's on fucking Netflix. They clear up. It's not like regular herpes. They clear up depending on how you maneuver and shit. But like, it's not so much that you get canceled, it's you get this stank on you. So people throw out these buzzwords like racist and Nazi. They don't actually fucking mean it, but it's these buzzwords to know he's a bad guy. You're not supposed to like him and shit like that.
They can use like Doja Cat wears shirt with noted villain on it. You know what I mean? Like they should just say villain. Just call him a villain. Don't. Dude, but if you don't have any proof to say that he's a Nazi, if you don't have any proof to say here's him trying to support the ideology and the social aspects of Nazism, then just call him a villain, because that's what you're calling him. You're calling him a villain. It's okay if you don't like him. If noted jerk face.
He's been a high functioning edgelord from time to time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Internet bad boy.
Internet bad boy makes it sound like he's in a boy band.
Well, that's what I'm trying to be. Pat, I like to think we're internet bad boys.
Can I be the pretty one?
Guys, we come on
a lot. We come on a lot of things.
Yeah, we record our YouTube show and we say gay a bunch. We're internet bad boys.
And retarded.
But yeah, I'm slowly like loving Doja Cat.
Oh
It's
man,
just
she is
because
awesome.
she's just I love shit like this. Just kind of like testing it, just because she did that intentionally. Like even
Yeah,
with the framing, she's not just like, look at my tiara. She's like, I'm framing this so Sam
it's
Hyde's
almost like
face is.
it's almost like she's like trying to cosplay as him, and she's like, "How'd I do?" Like
Yo, yeah, a little bit, yeah.
like
That's so funny.
it's funny because it's really interesting. You know me, I'm not I don't have any of my fingers anywhere near any kind of pulse, period.
Mm-hmm.
But I was not familiar so much with Doja Cat. I heard it, but never saw her until the episode of Dave with her on it, her and Lil Dicky, and like they were potentially dating, and I instantly fell in love with her. I instantly fell in love with her, and I
Oh,
go,
she got you horned up.
oh my goodness gracious, I think she's incredible. And then I
Oh,
go,
really?
wow,
She
she's a
doesn't.
really good artist too. She's fun.
She does not do it for me.
Really? Oh man, I don't
Yeah.
know, something about her. Like she's a I don't know what it is exactly. Maybe it's just her all natural physique, or maybe it's her. I think it's her personality in that, and just in general, how she's just kind of like, I don't know. She seems like she has a really good sense of humor, and she's also like just so fucking hot. I'm so in love with her.
You just said Doja Cat has a good sense of humor. Yo, you're in love.
I am in love with her. I'm smitten.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I think for me it was her like hotness didn't outweigh all the goofy shit. You know what I mean? So I just was like, like she became more annoying to me. But now
Yeah,
posting pictures with Sam Hyde shirts, it's so fucking. It's because like in the world she's in, it's such a stupid thing to do.
yeah,
Like
yeah. Exactly.
like
Yeah,
we could post Sam Hyde shirts all day, no one's gonna even flinch. They look at us and just assume,
yeah.
like our faces, they just assume we're Sam Hyde fans. But it's like because Doja, I don't know if you know, but Doja Cat got in trouble a while ago because Stormfront.
Is that somebody from The Boys?
Yeah, what?
The Boys, the
No.
show.
Oh, actually, yeah, that is a character on The Boys. No, Stormfront's like a fucking like white nationalist Nazi
Wait a minute. Her
website.
name was Stormfront. Wasn't her name Stormfront? And she was a national. She was like a
Yeah,
nationalist. Holy
I
shit!
think it was a reference to that. Yeah,
Get the fuck
but
out of here! Look at that.
so
I'm
there was
learning.
this website.
Look at me.
There was this website called Stormfront, and apparently Doja Cat was doing like a webcam show on that, so she got in trouble. They were like, Doja Cat was twerking for Nazis,
Yeah.
and she apparently was like, I think she proved it wasn't her. I don't know. I don't
Wait,
remember.
so somebody was twerking for Nazis?
Yeah, someone. Well, I mean,
Okay.
Pat, you've seen the movies. Nazi chicks are weirdly fucking hot. You saw American History X.
Oh
That
yeah.
fucking Nazi chick could get it. The chick
That,
from
a witch, right? Wasn't she a witch?
The Craft, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then if you watch the new season of that Waco show, there was like two Nazi chicks on that could fucking get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, she was apparently twerking on a fucking Nazi website. So then now this, and people are like, Doja Cat, you're fucking pushing it.
Yeah. So what is she? So is she also a neo? How come she's not being called a neo-Nazi then? I don't understand it. If she's twerking for Nazis and she's posting pictures of
No, some people are.
supposed Nazis, what?
Some
She's
people
called
are.
what?
Some people are calling her a neo-Nazi.
Oh no. Is she?
I don't think so.
I'm not familiar. Obviously,
I'm trying to look at these. I'm trying to look at these quote tweets because they're so funny.
So I got a question for you. I'm not, you know me, I just admittedly am not super familiar with Doja Cat, the particulars necessarily. But what is do you know her culture, her nationality? I mean, is she like, can you be a Nazi? Are we in the times now, Andy, where people of off non-white races, let's just say non-white races, are able to be Nazis as well?
So I'll say this: anyone can technically be a Nazi.
Oh,
It's
I didn't know
just
that.
I mean, you just gotta read the book and agree with it.
Which one?
You know what I
Which one?
mean? You can be anything. You just gotta read the book and be like, bars, fucking nailed it.
So, do you think she read the book, or she's literally just trolling?
I think she's 100% trolling.
Okay, that's pretty funny then. It's really funny then. It's very funny.
Were you considering Doja Cat being a Nazi?
I was gonna have to reassess my feelings for her. I might have to go, I don't love Nazis. Okay.
But I love Doja Cat.
I'm
not a huge fan. Anon Emus said she's not a stranger to controversy after the song she recorded Dindu and doing some streams with the people who have no thoughts. Oh yeah, that's what I was saying before.
What are no? Just Nazi anything stuff. That's not okay. Got it.
Yeah. Bad stuff.
It's not. It's neo not. Sorry. It's neo thoughts. It was neo.
It is interesting too, because I think I was actually following her on Twitter for a minute, and I did see her tweeting shit where she was like, I think she was one of these celebrities that was not handling being that famous, which I can't imagine being that famous. I wouldn't handle it well. You just like, I think getting to that level of celebrity where you just open up your phone and just casually scrolling some article or some person calling you a fucking jerk off is going to pop up. That'd be an exhausting way to live. I don't think I'd enjoy that. So, cause I saw her trending recently cause she was doing a bunch of shit, basically coming at fans and critics, just being like, yo, shut the fuck up. So there is a good chance she's hitting a point where she's like, I don't like being famous anymore. I'm going to burn it all down. This might be like an intentional thing where she's like, I'm going to keep doing stuff so people don't like me, so I'm not as fucking famous.
Yeah. I guess I just did
You're just double checking if she's a Nazi or not?
I just did a Doja Cat image search and I'm a little distracted.
Horny.
Yeah.
Sorry. Let's put
I exit out of it. I'm out of it.
Let's put safe search back on. Now, hey, I'm not shitting on you. This happened. They don't let me bring up hot girls' Instagram pages on panties because I just start scrolling.
It's probably for the best. I'm going to put my keyboard back down here so I don't do that again. There we go. Hey, look at that. I'm back. What were you saying? Something about Nazis?
I don't know. Anyway, no, it's just I was saying I think Doja Cat might be Doja Cat from what I.
Yeah, she's over it.
It feels like she's getting sick of being famous, and she might. And honestly, because like I said, being this famous looks like it fucking sucks ass. So it might be smart to just do little things like this that like turn off your more superficial fans. Because she's got a good like. Because I feel like there's what happens when you get famous. You have your hardcore fan base, and then you have your like decently hardcore fan base, but they're still a little fickle, and then you have your superficial fickle fan base. And I think that superficial fickle fan base is annoying as shit. And I bet you it's probably smart, if you're a person like her, it's probably smart to occasionally do stuff to just like make the fickle ones not want to fuck with you.
In the herd a bit. You gotta sit there and go like, hey, by the way, I agree with Bill Maher. And then they're going to go, whoa! And then some of them are going to go, oh, that's cool. I like you anyway, or whatever. And I think maybe more artists are noticing that they can survive with a much smaller fan base than they originally were striving for. And it's a lot more manageable. You can walk the streets with having your fan base and still make a living off of the people that fuck with what you're doing. So she's obviously gotten to the point, but you can see though, even when they do burn it to the ground, they're not out of the limelight. Kanye pretty much like blacklisted himself. No pun intended, but he blacklisted himself by saying all Jews are the worst. And now she's like, well, what if I said some Jews are not so great? And they're like, well, we don't like that. But like, she
didn't say that. She just wore a shirt with a no guy on it.
Right. She made a mini statement or a microaggression statement or whatever the fuck you want to call it. But when you do burn it to the ground like Kanye did, he's still in the news getting BJs, and he hasn't put out art. He hasn't put he's an artist. That's the whole reason we know him. is because he's an artist and he hasn't done
Yeah.
art in so long, but we're still hearing news about him because he went a little too far. He went way too far, actually. So like with
He
her,
also
she's just kind of like giving little boop, 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 like little, little micro doses. And then maybe next year she won't be invited to the Met Gala. And maybe next year she won't be invited to whatever event she might have done this, or, you know what I mean? Like, I think she's getting out of those
yeah.
obligations, but she's still wanting to keep a little bit of celebrity. You know what I'm saying?
That's kind of what I was saying. Where it was like that. I obviously at the end of the day, I don't fucking know what she's doing. I don't pay attention to her enough. But the vibe I'm getting is either she's doing this for controversy, just for attention, or she's trying to like you said earlier, thin the herd a little bit.
If I'm this young man that's on that T-shirt, I am trying to slip into them DMs, because now is the time. The iron. It's time to strike, my friend, because the iron is hot.
Because
she's posting pictures with you on her shirt. Hit her up.
Well, and also this is also extra hilarious because it's not just like, oh, she did a no thing. It's like, no, these universes don't mix.
Right.
You know, like deep internet culture doesn't mix with mainstream pop star. Like, it's just fucking crazy she put this fucking shirt on. And so now, like you were saying, like, oh, hop into her DMs, because yes, she's letting you know Sam Hyde is in my head. Like, I am aware of who he is. So I don't think it's likely going to happen. I think her managers are going to get in the way of it, but there is a 1% chance that we see Sam Hyde and Doja Cat doing a thing together, and that's fucking hilarious.
It's crazy. Yeah. And it's all because, and like you said, it might be a stunt. It might be legit.
Whatever
knows?
It fucking is, it's hilarious.
It's fucking crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We got to wrap it up here. I got to go we're recording, any Panties fans, we're recording some D&D today, so look out for that. Yeah, dude, we're going to Philly, going back to Philly. Philly, going back to Philly, playing D&D.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
You know who else is in
Thank you
Philly?
for hanging. Jalen Hurts.
That's right. Football.
Nice. Football. All right. I love you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. Have a good one. Watch the Capra stream tonight or yesterday, whenever you're listening or watching this.
Yeah.
Go check it out. We love you all. Have a good one. Be about it, bitches. Bye-bye.